I'm going to be pretty pragmatic and calm today. Yesterday I was not when it came to the 76ers. And I watched Drek last night. Now, I know people dismiss Drek as, well, they don't have all their full team. They don't have their two best players on the floor. When the three of them together, they're going to be okay. Last night against a crap team, the Sixers proved that they don't have good enough role players, which to me is a problem. I don't know if it's a problem to anybody else that the role players aren't good enough to carry a team over a bad NBA team. It bothers me. In addition to what's going on behind the scenes with this Embiid thing, I am demoralized, shall we say. Now, the gang is all here. Bill's here, right here. Why am I demoralized? I'm demoralized because I had hoped that coming into the season, there would be some promise finally for this franchise because they had pretty much, I don't know, did they maximize what they had? They got another superstar. They filled in with a bunch of veteran role players who weren't going to hurt them, that you could maybe trust coming off the bench. And all we've gotten as Sixer fans is a cast iron pan across the face like it's some cartoon. Whap! We got nothing. We have no hope right now. I told you I was going to be calm. We have no hope right now because we don't know from one day to the next what this franchise is all about. We don't know when the two star players are going to play. We know the one's going to come back and play, and Paul George, because he's rehabbing from there. We don't know about the other guy. The preservation of Joel Embiid has taken on a life of its own now, where fans are in the darkness. Fans have gone. It's amazing. I've seen this transition happen over the last several days. Fans have gone from buying into this rot that it's more important for him not to play than to actually play, because God forbid if he plays, we're going to tenderize him like some 5-day-old peach, and he's not going to be able to be full strength when it comes to the playoffs. They sold that narrative to everybody, and everybody goes, you know what? They're right. My God, they're right. He doesn't have to play. The early season doesn't mean anything. It's more important that we have him for the playoffs, presuming that we're going to have him for the playoffs. Like, there's only several months to go before we actually get to the playoffs where anything can happen. They could sit him out for 30 games, and in game 35, he could get banged up. Like, this premise, and people are starting to be onto it. They're going, you know what? Okay, now I'm annoyed. I bought into it at first. The joke was on me. Oh, yes, he doesn't have to play. It's more important for him to be healthy for the playoffs. Saying that in October, by the way. And so here's the player himself going, you know what? It's more important for me not to play. Yeah, I know I want to convince everybody I'm the most dominant player in the league. But woe is me. I'm too fragile to play now. I wasn't good enough or in good enough physical shape to actually start the season. I didn't have that responsibility after I played in the Olympics. You see where I'm going with this? Every little thing, including losing last night to poo-poo, is in the equation for the Philadelphia 76ers. Bill, am I right? Am I wrong?
I wish I could provide some positivity to the fan base today, but you're right, man. You're right. And with there being no end in sight with Joel Embiid, this team is terrible, Mike. I mean, they have no one that can create their own shot at all. And when they are shooting, you're talking about a team that's 28th in field goal percentage, last in three-point percentage. So I get it. These are role players that are playing probably more responsibility. Not probably, they are. They're given more responsibility than you would expect when Paul George and Joel Embiid are healthy. But fans are going to start getting frustrated because when you let the Detroit Pistons come into the Wells Fargo Center, the Pistons haven't won there since March of 2017. We were still celebrating the Eagles Super Bowl the last time the Pistons came into the Wells Fargo Center and beat the 76ers. And not only did they do it last night, they do it with Tobias. With Tobias Harris dropping 18 and 14 boards. It's hard to sit here today and be like, well, it's okay. I saw your tweet. It's a marathon, not a sprint, Mike.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, is what Allah said during the broadcast. Now, I know Allah has to say those things, but I wish he wouldn't. I really would. I understand that he has to carry to the organization, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. In other words, this stuff doesn't matter, which insults me. But we'll move on from that. The one premium player they have right now is like a spinning top. He's all over the place, forcing crap, throwing up three-pointers that are not in rhythm because he believes he's got to now carry the team, which he's not capable of carrying a team with the rest of these guys around him. One of the things I worried about when they loaded up on older role players was what? That they were older role players. Like, what are they going to do? How much are they going to give them? And I know you're high on Caleb Martin. And what did I say about him? He looks like a system player in the Miami system to me. He looks no better than that.
I'm still waiting on, though, what Caleb Martin looks like when you get Joel and Paul George. And I know that's not what people want to hear today. When are we getting them back? That's the big question. But I'm not ready to say, hey, Caleb Martin can't play in this system because we don't know. And when you keep talking about older role players, they're exactly that, though, Mike. The emphasis is on role. And you're not asking them to play a role now. You're asking them to try to carry this team. And they can't. And you're right. Maxi's all they have. And their only offense is him and Drummond running a little pick and roll. They got nothing else. And that brings us to the head coach. Like, what the hell is Nick Nurse doing? How come he can't figure out how to make some of these guys serviceable without Joel Embiid? You're now looking at a team that's 17-30 dating back to last year without Joel Embiid on the court. That's 47 games. And I thought Nick Nurse was a great basketball coach. I'm not ready to rule him out yet, but come on, man. Figure something out. That offense looked terrible it looked ugly as can be. You can't figure something out with the guys that you have on this team. All you got is a pick and roll with Andre Drummond and Tyrese Maxey. That's it. And if that doesn't work, you're just going to be throwing up shots that you can't make. It's an ugly brand of basketball to watch, and it doesn't sound like it's getting any better because now we're hearing maybe Joel comes back next week. What did Shams say? He's done some scrimmages.
This is beautiful because Shams is a product of what agents tell him and what executives tell him because they know he'll put it out there. Like all due respect to the guy, I think he does work hard, but he gets fed stuff that people want out. All right?
No doubt about it.
And he goes with it.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, you see the same thing with Schefter in football.
Right, so I can't trust anybody. But here is Shams on the Embiid situation, which is coming directly from the 76ers front office.
I'm told he is essentially in the ramp-up phase of his return process, of his debut process. He has completed, from what I'm told, multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages in recent days. And so the Sixers want to make sure, from a conditioning perspective, his knee, his body is 100% before he makes it back out on the floor for his debut. He has workout scheduled today and on Friday to evaluate whether he's going to be able to make a return as soon as this weekend. But this is all a part of what has been described to me as the new normal for Joel Embiid. That's going to include periodic time off at different points during the season. It's going to include routine checkups on his knee over the course of the season. And it is all part of the Sixers and Joel Embiid's new strategy this season on how to keep him healthy when he has never been, and that's for the playoffs.
Shams should take a shower after being used like that.
The new normal, Mike.
So here is here's what a real reporter would do, and he's not a real reporter. He's a messenger for people. All right. So here, like, essentially, he's in the ramp up period. Okay. Here's the next question: why? Why is he in the ramp? Okay, they told me he's in the ramp up period. As a reporter, you go, well, why would he be in the ramp up period? Like, there were several months before training camp. Now he goes, well, they make sure you get the conditioning perspective. But why? Why isn't he conditioned? Like, these are questions that should be asked by reporters. Well, and they tried to do it yesterday with Nick Nurse, who's like is the fall guy for the whole thing. He doesn't know what to say. Daryl Morey has a responsibility to come out and address these questions. Now, I requested Daryl Morey. I have a semi-decent relationship with Daryl Morey from back in the day. And I requested him yesterday, and I was told by the Sixers that Daryl is not available right now, that maybe in the next week or whatever. All right? So I'm trying my best to get answers. I'll have Daryl Morey on this show, and if he tells me something, essentially he's in a ramp-up period, I'll say, why? That will be the question.
Yeah, it's unfair that they keep rolling out Nick Nurse, and I understand his frustration a little bit. I mean, it gets under your skin because you want answers, and he's the face that's out there. But you're right. It should be Daryl Morey or, hey, maybe even the owner we never hear from because he's down in Washington.
It's not going to be the owner. He doesn't know basketball from a pumpkin.
But
so,
yeah, but you're not going to hear.
It's not going to be him.
You're not going to hear from Josh.
Well, I let my basketball people take care of the basketball part.
That's pretty good.
I'm in Washington, D.C. I don't really understand what's happening up here. And then, I'm in Jersey because my hockey team is playing. 610-632-0975. We'll talk some Eagles issues as well. It's a Thursday as we get it ready to. I don't know about you guys. I'm ramping up for the weekend of football. I need to ramp up today.
And happy Halloween, Mike.
Thank you. Yeah, but I essentially in my ramp-up period for the Eagles game on Sunday. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. We're back after this. sometimes I got to put a call to arms out there because I want to know how this fan base feels about this. You already know how I feel. Maybe you don't share that. And so the questions I ask you are you not angry about this? Do you not feel like you're being used? And if not, how do you feel? I need to get a feel for what they feel. Because this is all about the fan base. They're being led adrift here. And a lot of people don't think it's that serious, and I get it. It's early in the season, and maybe things will iron out when these guys come back. I just don't like the mindset of snatching the aura of a team away from them and holding it within your own walls, which is what the Sixers are doing. It's like you don't need to know nothing about us because we're an entity on our own. You people are just kind of like, fringe. You come to games, you watch it on TV. I get it, but really, we got to run the business the way we run the business, and it doesn't include you. And that's what I resent most of all.
Well, you got people who still are buying in because we're on the YouTube chat. We got a guy named Unbiased Opinion. Mike, you're missing the point on Embiid. It's about the total miles. Clearly, he is permanently compromised physically. Hopefully, less miles through the 82 games will have him more sturdy in May. And I'm guilty of this. I am on board with load management. I am on board with limiting his miles. But not before the trip even starts. Like, that's where I have the issue right now. The season you knew was going to start this month. How he's not ready, how he's not conditioned, how he's not strong enough, light enough, whatever the hell Nick Nurse has said, and now it doesn't seem to be any end in sight, and the Sixers aren't telling us anything, and they're not going to be able to win games. I had said to you before, well, seeding probably won't matter with the load management. Well, you better at least get Paul George back because this team they're not going to be able to win even enough games to be in the play-in without Joel and Paul George. This team is a bad basketball team without those two guys, and then that makes you concerned, well, what happens when Joel's not playing? What happens when he's on the bench? Even when he starts. Last season, what was the problem? Against the Knicks, when Joel went to the bench, they couldn't stop the bleed. Are they going to be able to stop the bleed this year? Maybe when Paul George comes back, at least he's a guy who could create his own shot.
I love this notion, though, of preservation. Like if you have a car and it's got a lot of miles on it, does it help it run later if you don't take it out of the driveway? I don't know. I know human beings are different than cars, but that would seem to be a faulty premise.
Well, look, I mean, you see it in other sports.
You got to get to where you got to go, so you got to use the damn car. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you see it in other sports. I mean, we're in the NFL season right now, and you see the way that they load manage is they get guys off their feet during the week. So you may not see certain players practicing or having limited practice because they want to limit the wear and tear on the knees. But with Joel, I'm so torn on this, Mike. I'm so torn because I am on board with limiting his games. Just not this way. Not the way you're starting the season and not with how cryptic everything has been.
I don't understand how you can be on board. I really don't.
Well, he's not going to play 82 games.
Why do you buy into this that it's good for him to miss games? Well, how about ramping up by playing lesser minutes? Like, how about getting on the floor for 25 minutes? Like, isn't that ramping up? Like, what is this concept of ramping up? What the hell is he doing to ramp up? This process that he's continuing his ramp up. The hell does that mean? You can't ramp up unless you play the game.
We're on board with that. The ramping up to start the season doesn't make sense.
You're telling me you're on board with missing games
in the season. Like he's not going to play 82. So I'm okay if they want to decide certain back-to-backs he's not going to play, or we're going to limit his minutes. You're right. I'd rather see them just limit minutes in games.
You're okay with that at the peril of the fan? You want to play Russian roulette with the fan. Let's spin the ball wherever it lands. Oh, it landed on. He's not playing. Oh, well, too damn bad for the people that want to come to the park.
I would think, and we're going to find out, 610-632-0975. We're going to find out from the fans. But I would think a majority of the fans agree with me. They don't like the way this season has started. They don't like the cryptic messaging coming from the Sixers, but they would all sign up for yes, limit his game so that he's ready for the playoffs.
Okay. In that case, you've been bamboozled.
But
You've been bamboozled. If that's what you believe, their spin on this thing that we're doing this for you. We're playing them. We're going to shut them in. How about if we don't play them the first 30 games? How about if we reduce the season to 50? Oh, I'm on board with that because they'll be ready for the playoffs. Forgetting about the 30 games that will get you to the damn playoffs.
What is the alternative? We talked a little bit about this yesterday.
The alternative is to play them.
But he can't. He's not
You
a
play
normal.
them 25 minutes. I don't get where you think it's better to sit out an entire game than to ramp up by playing them less minutes.
Well, you get in the same way. Look, if you're saying just limit his minutes.
Look what they were last night without him. Look, you're losing to the Detroit Pistons because he can't play 25 minutes.
So that's a different argument then.
It's not
if you're saying
argument, it's the same.
No, you're saying load manage him, but do it by restricting minutes, not games.
Well, yes, if that's what they think they need to do, but don't just sit him out and keep the fans dangling like this. It's ridiculous. It's like, you don't matter is what they're telling their own fan base.
Now, I don't think this is possible, but what if they were able to say, all right, look, this is the plan. Here's all 82 games. These are the games Joel's playing. These are the games he's not.
Oh, they're going to reduce the price then? Oh, you're going to reduce the price for those games where he's not playing? How about if you do that? Isn't that fair? Or
Well,
they're
already-
going to say,
they're
you know
already
what,
sold.
it's not fair. It's like, wait, no, we have to make our money. So your plan has
Well-
a flaw in it.
I mean, look, you could make the same argument for preseason games in all sports. You pay the same damn price.
Why are you going off the subject?
I'm just saying,
Who gives
you
a
could make
crap
that
about
argument out
football
everywhere.
Preseason games?
Not only
We're
football,
talking about
hockey.
this issue right here.
I had to pay
okay?
for damn preseason Flyers
I don't care
games.
what you had to pay for. We're talking about this particular issue right here, where you're playing Russian roulette with people who want to come to the arena.
But what would people rather have? See, here's where you and I guess, disagree. You think that by simply not holding him out, you're saying holding him out doesn't guarantee he's healthy for the playoffs. But
It doesn't, because when he misses so many games, that game he comes back, then what? He's not basketball conditioned because all of a sudden he's just going to show up and play. This is what I'm saying. You got to play the guy. If you want to limit his minutes, fine. But in those 25 minutes, you're going to be a better basketball team, and he's going to ramp up. Like this concept of ramping up insults me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. See, we're talking about two different things. The ramping up to start the season, unacceptable. There's no reason why Joel Embiid should not have been ready to start this season, absent an injury they're not telling us about. So if we're going to assume he's healthy, he should have started the season. But where you and I do disagree is you're not on board with load management throughout the season. And I'm saying you have this guy.
I didn't say I wasn't on board with load management throughout the season. I just got done saying play him less minutes if you need to.
Well, you're not on board with him missing games then. You want him to play every game but restrict his minutes.
He should have been ready to play the start of this season. Is what I'm
Agreed.
saying.
No
now,
disagreement.
As long as there are permissive people like you, this is how they get away with it. Okay? Because you have bought into this permissive thing. That, oh, yes, they have the right idea in mind to keep them healthy for the playoffs. I'm saying that's a faulty premise because there's no guarantee, even if you sit him out, that he's going to be healthy for the playoffs. And you're buying into it.
Look,
And it's like when I accuse the Penn State fans. You buy into this, oh, they have a great program, and you're not bothered by the fact they play in the Citrus Bowl. That makes you a permissive fan.
In an ideal world, Joel Embiid would not be injury prone, but he is. This is what we have. He's a superstar. He's one of the best basketball players I've ever seen, but he's injury prone. So clearly it would give you a better chance. More likely he's healthy for the playoffs if he plays less games. I think that is just a scientific mathematical equation.
I don't think it is at all.
The less he plays, the more healthy he would be.
The less he plays, the better they're going to be. The less he plays, they're not going to be a 7 seed. 610-632-0975. Back after this. Yeah, I guess I'll be giving that to Candy. I can't. It's a cheesy move to not be home. Like I could very easily go out and skip the whole 3-hour production, but
Yeah, turn the lights off.
Yeah, but I'm going to bear. I'm going to hang in there and answer the door for the kiddies. You asked me a question about candy. I don't know when I was a kid whether I had a favorite candy, but right now, if you're coming up with a top 5 candy that you would give away, it would be Snickers, Kit Kat, Twix, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and Skittles. Am I in the ballpark with those 5?
I think you got to get Sour Patch Kids in the mix.
Sour Patch Kids?
That's a strong one. I'm a big mini M&M's guy as well.
M&M's.
Ooh,
M&M's
peanut M&Ms
was
are the way
right
to go.
outside the realm of, because some people, the affection for the M&M is divided between the M&M peanut and the regular M&M.
Good point.
So, it's like takes away 50% of the vote.
It's fair.
Yeah, I think the peanut M&M is a superior.
I do
M&M.
too, but a lot of people don't like the peanut. I think that's one of my favorite. Kit Kat, you can't beat. Kit Kat, to me, far and away, bang.
Yeah, it's a good candy.
I bought some Kit Kat to give away tonight.
I told you.
In honor of that premise.
Oh, that's nice. So I told you during the break, my favorite candy was, and this is more nostalgic because it was my grandfather's favorite, was always the Fifth Avenue bar. But a lot of people don't love the
No,
Fifth
see,
Avenue.
that's an obscure, that's an outside the realm candy. You got to have a certain palate for the Butterfinger and the Fifth Avenue. They're not in the popular realm.
Yeah, it's true. Wait, so what was your top 5?
Snickers, Kit Kat, Twix, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Skittles.
I think I would replace Skittles with Sour Patch Kids, and I think that's a pretty solid list.
Really?
I'm not a fan
Sour
of the
Patch
Skittle.
Kids over Skittles?
The Skittle gets stuck in your
I
teeth.
don't know. I think Skittles is much more popular.
I don't know.
Sour
man.
Patch Kids is, the younger kids love the Sour Patch Kids. But as far as the test of time, I mean, it reigns Skittles.
Yeah, I
Right
think
out
Skittles is an overrated candy.
I'm probably clearing out both and going with the little trolley worms, those sour worms. I'm in on those right now.
You see, they're the nouveau candies.
What'd you see yesterday? We had
I'm talking about
Shaq's candy here.
The what?
Shaquille O'Neal has a candy
Oh, he
now.
does?
Shackalicious?
They had them here yesterday.
Really?
They're like, there's a Mack truck. There's a Shamrock. I don't know what the Shamrock's for.
I was shocked that it was just regular candy. I thought he was going to be part of the wave that was going with the whole gummy
Yeah.
type route.
Oh, with the
Yeah. But he just went regular
THC.
candy.
Did you ever dress up? Like, do you and your wife ever think to go trick or treating, or go to parties together dressed up? Or
So her mom always has a Halloween party.
oh yeah,
So we went 2 weeks ago. She had it. So we went dressed up. We just went as skeletons. Kids, us. We were all skeletons.
oh. I was the king of the poor taste costume. You know when you can get away with poor taste costumes? You can't do that anymore.
No, you
Which,
cannot.
I admire the progress of that.
Yeah.
To be more politically correct. But at a time when it wasn't politically correct, you could really, I tried to be very unique. And one day, one Halloween party, I went as Daryl Strawberry after colon surgery. You remember
how did you pull that off?
He had colon surgery.
I do remember vaguely back in the day.
Yeah, so I went as with a Yankee uniform with his number on it, Yankee hat, and I spray painted the buttocks with red paint.
Yeah, that would probably not.
The key to those kind of costumes is nobody knows what they are.
No.
So you walk in and they go, well, they give you the cross. Well, who are you? I'm down Strawberry at the cold surgery. But one time when the most in poor taste costume that I ever had. I'm not even ashamed to admit this now, but the guy was I found out some stuff that he wasn't really the greatest guy in the clubhouse. There was a pitcher the Phillies had named Corey Lytle.
I remember him.
They pitched for the Oakland A's, and the Phillies got him. And he apparently there was a scandal in the clubhouse about him and some other player's wife.
So how did you dress up as this?
Well, he died. He crashed a private plane into a New York apartment building. Well, yeah, listen, it's in poor taste. He crashed his plane into and I can't. All right, I'll stop.
Yeah, back in 06. I'm looking this up. That's why I remember the name.
It was like he was flying between apartment buildings over the East River, maybe it was, and he lost control of the plane. He smashed into an apartment building.
Yeah, that's why I remember this. On the Upper East Side, it says. October 11th.
Yeah, Upper East Side. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear what you dressed up as, but
Well-
you saying you don't even want to say it on the air means it was bad.
Well, it was in poor taste. And, but it was kind of funny in a poor taste way.
What did you
He wasn't the best guy, so I thought I could get away with it.
Was there a plane in your costume?
I came as an apartment building.
Somebody guessed it on the YouTube chat. They said that you told this story before.
I came as an apartment building, and I put a fan blade in I painted a moving box, a tall moving box, as an apartment. Like, I was really good. I had the windows and the whole bit, and I stuck a fan blade in the back.
You described this as
walked in as the apartment building.
bad taste. That's what you said this was?
It was a horrible taste, wasn't it?
It was pretty bad, Mike.
It was terrible. I'm ashamed of it. But you confess your shames, and sometimes you get past them.
You grow as a human.
Yeah, when it's the apartment building.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been anything in bad taste. I don't think I've ever done that. Ray, have you?
I grew up in the era of, hey,
Politically correct.
yeah, let's be careful on that.
Yeah, people would stretch the envelope back then.
Yeah, like I remember when I was a little kid. I mean, I dressed up as a girl one Halloween. Can you do that still?
I don't know.
Is
But
that a bad
nobody
taste?
knew what I was,
Yeah.
which means you can kind of get away with it. They're not going to recognize it right away.
Yeah. We should have dressed up today. We missed it.
I got the
Yeah, that's
orange on. That was all I was going
You know,
for
that's
today.
right.
Ray looks like Sean Couturier today in his Flyer shirt.
He does look like Sean Couturier. He can go with Sean Couturier.
Yeah, that's
All
your
right,
look.
then that's what I dressed up as today.
Had a guy. Well, anyway.
Can I get the
The
$100?
story is
gift
that
card?
our man Dylan, big executive here, there's a contest in the building of all the radio stations.
Yeah, Dylan, come
Costume.
behind me so YouTube could see it.
Yeah,
if you could hear
there's
us.
a costume contest. Come on in, Dylan. And he's got it to the T.
I saw him in the parking lot when I pulled up. I almost lost it.
Yeah, he's a macho man, Randy Savage. He's dressed as.
From the Slim Jim commercial.
And he's got Slim Jims in his hand. Yeah. Crack it to a Slim Jim.
No, the best part of this, though, is Dylan said he went into 7-Eleven this morning to buy the Slim Jims, completely dressed up like Macho Man, and they treated him like he was a normal customer.
They must get a lot of weirdos.
They didn't say a
in that
word to him.
store.
Oh, this is just Dylan. We know
Nobody
Dylan.
reacted to him.
He's going to win. He's got to win. If he doesn't win, the fix is in. Like some sales.
There's no way
executive
that
is
someone's coming with a better costume.
we're going to reveal the scandal.
Unless someone comes as Corey Lytle's apartment, there's no way.
All right, let's go to the text board first before we go to the phones, because there's a lot of people out there that are actually perturbed as me by this whole thing. Ray, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm trying to sift through ones that don't curse and they're upset, just how upset they are with this, because a lot of people quite upset. Ramping up just doesn't sound right. These games cost $500 for tickets plus parking, food. They won't reduce the price. It's greed. Furious about it all. Yes, I'm okay with limiting his time, but get him in the game. He's being paid to play ball. That's his job. If he can't do his job, then get him off the team. We all stopped going and watching.
yeah.
They don't make money. He'd be in the game so fast our heads would spin.
Can't get him off the team. That's why America's being held hostage here. There's Dylan in the background. You see,
Yeah, here,
can you see Dylan?
Put the YouTube on me. He's behind me.
Yeah.
So we'll see if you got
There
him.
you go.
It's a great costume.
Yeah, it really is. Look at him. Looks just like him.
The boots and everything, man.
All right, let's go to the phones. Rich in Marshville. Rich, you're on 97.5. This has got to be Morrisville, right?
Correct.
All right, go ahead, Rich. Marshville does not exist, but go ahead.
And it's a generational thing. I'm like Marsh the cat. No one knows who Marsh the cat is because we're old, Mike.
Yeah, I remember Morris the cat, yeah.
And that was the other thing. You were talking briefly about the Bill missing out on Seinfeld, because you remember when they had the conversation about when did the $100,000 bar become the $100,000 bar?
Yes. Yeah, that was when he was in the car dealership and he was trying to get his Twix and it was dangling.
Slide up.
Yeah, it was dangling and he wanted to borrow a fresh dollar so he could.
We can go on and on. Mike, Bill, thank you very much for taking my call. I am beyond frustrated. Frustration doesn't begin to cover. And it was like it's like they're just preparing us for letdown after letdown, and there's no compliment sandwich. It's all negativity. It's bad, 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 bad. Now, I don't understand and can't understand what happened to defense. What happened to rebounding? What happened to having some, I don't know, sense? You have 5 senses. Like, the ball's around me. I got to get my hands on it. Nick Nurse, I don't understand. These guys are paid so much money. How are the fundamentals not there? I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. I don't play any sports whatsoever. I don't know. But I just had to change the channel. I couldn't even watch it. And I don't see any solutions or answers for this whatsoever. Even when Embiid comes back and we got our superstars on the floor, I do not see them pushing beyond, getting into a wild card, second round, a wild card at best.
You know, you raise an interesting point, because even if those guys play and they come back, are they good enough from what you've seen of these role players that they have?
Mike, it's all disappointment. And so now I'm a 3 for 3. I'm not even 4 for 4 anymore. I can't do it. I'm Flyers.
Well, you'll be intrigued. When those guys get back, you'll be intrigued. There's no question about it. But that team they played last night might be the worst team in the league. It's certainly one of the worst teams. They were down by 21 points to that team.
Yeah, they got smoked.
Really, I mean, it's almost impossible, really, when you think about it. And I'm looking at the plus minuses. Like Eric Gordon, who played 16 minutes, was a starter, was minus 14. You got minus 11s in the starting lineup with Lowry and Maxey. And Kelly Oubre, who shoots 5 for 14, is minus 21 in the game against the Pistons.
You see what my man Caleb Martin was?
Your boy Caleb Martin, it was 2 for 10.
+1.
Yeah, it was plus one.
He was a +1.
And also 2 for 10 from the field.
Look,
and when I say Caleb Martin, when I say he's a system player, when Miami moves the ball, he's there and he's open, he shoots it. He's that's all he is.
I understand the frustration. But you also have to take a step back and look at this a little objectively and say, as bad as the role players look right now, they're not going to look this bad if, it's a big if, you get Joel and Paul George fully healthy for most of the season. These guys, you take the 2 best players off of any basketball team, it shouldn't look this ugly, I agree. But these guys, I'm not ready to rule out and say, oh, these role players are terrible.
Can you coach your way past the Detroit Pistons? You know, we have this Nick Nurse. You want to be the best coach today? He can't coach his way past the Detroit Pistons? Seriously?
That was a surprise.
At home?
It was a surprise that they've had zero. Their offense has zero creativity to it outside of Maxey. But here's what I keep thinking to myself. All right, is it possible that maybe Nick Nurse, he knows Joel's coming back. Obviously, Paul George is coming back. So it's when they're in practice, they're practicing with those guys, and that's why it looks so ugly, because they're not anticipating them to be out a long time. Like, would it make sense for them to create a whole offensive style that doesn't include Joel and Paul George, and then this weekend they're back, and it's like, wow, what wasted practice time we had last week?
Should they be good enough with that team to beat the Pistons at home?
Yes, and they certainly should be good enough not to get blown out by the Pistons.
I mean, really, are you kidding me with that game last night? Like, seriously. It's incomprehensible to me that you'd be down 21 points to that team.
But see, here's where it goes.
That's just a lack of, first of all, it's a lack of defensive effort that you let that team be up by 21. Like, I can't fathom it.
And they got out-rebounded. Some of those offensive rebounds they gave up were terrible. But, look, you've been talking a lot about the reason you want Joel to play more games this season is for continuity. You say, oh, look at Boston. They play every night because they're building a team. They're building continuity.
Build culture.
Well, it's hard, I think, with all the new pieces. I sound like I'm making excuses for the Sixers.
You do it daily.
But you look at this team, I mean, with all the new pieces, they have no continuity
you're like
right now.
Mr. Positive. Hey, I bought in. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. From the jump, you're going, that's the right thing to do.
But what else?
And I said, Bill, you're setting a bad tone here. This is a bad tone. When you accept that that's the right thing to do, that you discount the fact that you need to play to develop continuity, you start the season off with a bad tenor. And this is what the season has started off to be. Now, could it be rescued? I mean, I don't know. I guess.
It's only
those
4
guys,
games.
Those guys get back. They're premier players. Maybe it can be rescued. I don't like the whole thing about the emphasis on not playing more than playing. It's bothered me from the jump.
It does set a bad tone to start the season. It's just, what other alternative do we have, man? I'm not giving up on the season after 4 games. I still really liked the moves they made this offseason. Obviously, George being one of them, but Caleb Martin, I really liked that move. I loved bringing in Andre Drummond as the backup center. I liked these moves.
How about this mindset? Hey, you know what? After the Olympics, let's get our ducks in a row here with Joel. Let's get our ducks in a row. Joel, we need you to be X weight. We need to have you at 250 or whatever it is. And when we start this training camp, we need you to be in shape so we can start it, so we can actually put our guys on the floor, because we need to do that. Instead, they went the other way. They go, whatever you say, Joel, and whatever we're going to say, we're going to preserve you, because you're even buying into it. You're the one who made the statement, I'm not going to play back-to-back, so your mindset is not to play. So I guess, that's an okay mindset. It's not okay. It's okay not to play. So let's emphasize on not playing so we can preserve you in some kind of salt wrap. And then in the playoffs, we're going to be on fire. Now, there's something faulty about that to me.
There is. And I keep saying, we agree on the start of the season. It's just now how they managed all 82 where I think we disagree, because I am okay with load management. And I think, Ray, you agree with the same sentiment where you don't understand the start of the season. It sets a bad tone. You don't like that he's not in shape or whatever's going on, but you're okay with the load management.
I load manage him with lesser minutes. Like not playing. Not playing does you no good, because the ramp up is then flawed. What is the ramp up? What are you going to do? You want to run a marathon? Like, what do? You going to go on the bicycle? What does that ramp up thing mean?
The thing that I feel like we're ignoring here. Now, maybe we don't trust the medical and training staff with the Sixers, but there's people with a lot more education than all of us who specialize. Their whole focus is on sports medicine, and they're the ones evaluating Joel and saying this is the
They
plan.
are? Or is he saying it also? They're doing what he wants a lot of the time. 610-632-0975. We're back after this. 10 o'clock hour was brought to us by Window Nation. Take advantage of their 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, you'll make no down payment, and you'll have no payments with no interest 12 full months. Just call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. 11 o'clock hour, Grungo Law brings it to us. It's your law firm when you need help because of an injury. Pray for peace. Prepare for trial. Grungo Law, Grungo, law.com. All right, a lot of people, well, one person is hammering me on the chat. And I can take it. The Halloween costume where I went as an apartment building was in semi-poor taste. But it wasn't like a human being. It was an apartment building. I went as an apartment building. So, well, go ahead, read it. Here's the thing. The caustic wit was accepted a lot more back then than it is now. And I've already said that it was in poor taste, and I'm ashamed now when I look back. But at the time, you're not ashamed because caustic wit was in vogue.
The chat has gotten so... There's so much chat, I can't scroll up. I can't scroll up to see the comment, but in essence, it was, they were offended by it.
Yeah, the guy was offended, saying it's the last time he's going to listen to the show. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I was just trying to clear some air here with that.
Well, the point of you bringing it up was it was in bad taste, and we wouldn't do this now. Right. So that was the whole point of it, but hey.
Yeah, it was an inanimate object, basically.
Yeah.
An apartment building.
I personally think...
The apartment building doesn't have feelings, and I was trying to express that it had feelings because it got damaged.
And I personally think your costume yesterday was more offensive.
What was that?
When you rocked the Penn State quarters it.
When I came as a Penn State backer?
Yeah. You came as a Penn State to rub it in.
To annoy Temple people?
To annoy everybody here, Kincade included.
He started it.
Did you see Brendan Gunn today?
Well, he's just got a Villanova thing on, right? What's that?
He went to Temple. He's got nothing to do with Villanova. He's obsessed with Villanova. He came today dressed as a Villanova basketball player. You're a Temple grad. To me, that's a whole...
What was the point of the costume?
Because he loves Villanova.
Was he mocking Villanova?
No, he loves them.
He loves them?
Even though he didn't go there.
How can any Temple person love Villanova? It's like sociologically you should hate him.
Ray? He's preaching to the choir here, isn't he?
Brendan Gunn has the whole story. I grew up a Villanova fan, the whole thing. And
why didn't he go there? Didn't get in?
I got to ask him on that. I never got to whether or not he got in.
Well,
you got to get the story, though, of why he grew up.
Once you cross over and you go to either Temple or St. Joe, you got to foment the hate.
I grew up a St. Joe's fan. I was a St. Joe's fan through and through. And then
you can't be a St. Joe fan now.
Correct. I went to Temple.
You have a Temple pedigree. Yeah, I mean, really.
Turned on the family.
That's the essence of the competition between the schools. And a lot of it is a sociological hook.
My brother's a Hawk, so we have a whole...
Nobody likes Villanova. If you went to another Big Five school, Villanova's the enemy for a reason.
Yeah, it takes a lot to sit in that traffic to get out to them. Radnor's a far way away.
610-632-0975. We're talking Sixers, and we'll get to the Eagles. This is such a hot topic for me. I can't let it go, and especially after last night. Like, I was expecting the Sixers would win that game last night, and everybody would go, that's no big deal now. They got the win without those guys. Now those guys will be back. Things are looking up, but they lose the game last night, and it re-triggered me. I
can't believe they lost that game. You texted me halfway through, and I'm like, are they really going to lose to the Pistons? And then they started to run.
Are they really I tweeted out last night. Am I hallucinating, or are they down by 21 points to the Detroit Pistons? It was incomprehensible to me. And they're getting dunked on, like Ivy's like dunking and growling.
It was ugly, man.
God.
In front of your home crowd.
Yeah,
too.
and then I was flipping over to the Yankees. The Missanelli hate ball, I call it. The World Series finally wrapped up. The Missanelli hate ball, where I hate both teams. And I was hoping they would end at a tie. But the Dodgers do prevail and beat the Yankees in 5 games.
Well, I just said...
Oh, my, you Yankee fans.
I just said that the Sixers game was ugly. How about that 5th inning for the Yankees, man?
Poor Garrett Cole be subject to that. Of course, he doesn't cover first base.
And then he, points to the guy. Like, why didn't you run?
Yeah. Well, Judge makes the error. They fell apart, man.
Fell
It
apart.
could happen to a nicer franchise, to be honest with you.
I couldn't believe after he finally hit the home run, Judge put everything to bed. That happens. He drops that fly ball.
I don't remember an inning like that, though, in World Series history. I know there's been, errors before and bad plays, but 3 terrible fielding plays in the same inning, allowing a team to go from 5-0 to 5-5.
Yeah. Well, and also the bottom of the Dodgers order, allowing that to happen and bring up the 3 straight MVPs, then Hernandez.
Yes.
You're just asking for disaster.
But yeah, because the shortstop, that was a terrible play, too. They acted on the broadcast the runner put pressure on him. It's a routine play to throw to third. Anyway, couldn't have happened to a better franchise. You're right.
Following some baseball last night, huh? No hockey on, I guess.
Well, it was no hockey.
Flyers tonight.
Flyers are back in action tonight.
Thursday night football or Flyers?
Oh, you got Flyers tonight. Coming off a win over the Bruins? What are you kidding?
Yeah, we're going all Fly guys tonight. Hit it, Ray.
Yeah, the horse.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
His little grin when that
There it
horn
is.
played. He's
It
like
does.
It's like a 12-year-old.
The little kid in me comes out. I mean, that's what I did as a kid. I was
Loves his
obsessed.
hockey, man.
I remember my grandmother would sit on the couch, who hasn't checked in a while. She'd sit on the couch. She'd be eating her pretzels, dipping them in cream cheese, and all I would hear is, check them! Check them! Shoot it!
Can you blame her for not checking in? You never answer the phone.
I know. My grandmom, actually, if she's listening, she was in the hospital. She was having some pain. She's all right, though. So.
Grandma Ellie's okay?
Yeah, we love you, Ellie.
All right. Let's go to Joe and Fox Chase. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Joe.
Hey, Mike, I got to tell you, I've been listening to you forever, and you were never so right as you are today. This is unbelievable. Me, you, Ray, Bill, and another guy off the street would beat Detroit. Are you?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, you can't lose.
Are you kidding me? They bamboozled us. I mean, Mike, let me ask you this. If Embiid was to play 41 games, half of the season, and we assume, okay, we'll go ahead and throw out that we win all 41 of those games. But then with this other crap, we lose 41. We end up 41-41. Where's that going to get us? I mean,
Lower seed.
What the heck is? Are you kidding me? I am outraged by this. I can't even believe
the notion that you can survive with a lower seed is faulty because you would have to play a really good team. Like a team that's really achieved. And look at this conference now with the teams that are rising up. You got Cleveland, who's they're playing really well. Now, Indiana, they beat Indiana, so I don't know about them, but they should be a little bit viable. And Knicks in Boston, and then you got Orlando surging. It's not an easy, to think that you can be the 7th seed, the 8th seed, the play-in seed, whatever, it's still not going to be easy for them.
And there's no guarantee that when Embiid plays, he could get hurt. I mean, he hasn't played since the Olympics. How can he not be ready to go, even if you have to limit his time, for God's sake? This is just, I don't know where they're coming from. This is the most outrageous thing. How come no other teams are doing this? Boston Celtics, they play everybody every night.
They do. Now, they're a little younger, and they have guys that haven't been hurt like Embiid. Embiid's tenderized, let's face it. I get it. I get it. But I don't understand the lack of ramp-up to be ready for the season. That's what I don't understand.
And this is not baseball, 162 games. We only have the 82 games. You cannot go 41-41. You've got to be – this is I'm beside myself, Mike. This is too much for me.
I hear you. I hear it in your voice. Now, last night, you're a paying customer. We gave away tickets to our winner last week, right? Now, can you really get cranked up to go to a game to see what the Sixers are going to put out against maybe the worst team in the league who hasn't won yet? What is the anticipation for that?
Yeah, without Joel and Paul George, I guess the excitement was you get to boo Tobias. That was what people were excited
At
about.
least you owe it to the fans who come to say, we're good enough to beat that team. You know? And they weren't. And they were down. I could see it. Being down 21 to that team is that's such a lack of effort. It's not even funny. It's a lack of defensive effort when that team is scoring on you like they're scoring.
And you're getting out rebounded.
That's what I mean. It's the whole thing is a lack of effort whether it's on the glass or whether it's defending your guy with your position. I don't know. It made me saltier. I swear to God, I'm going, okay, well, I'll be okay tonight. That's a win. So, yeah, we'll have to process. Okay, they're coming back whenever. At least they got that win last night. But they don't get it. They don't get the win. That team may have gone winless for the first 20 games. Well, they won last night, the Pistons.
Is there any possibility where it was so ugly last night where Daryl Morey says to Joel, all right, listen, man, you're playing this weekend. Enough's enough.
No. They don't do that with him. What he says goes. They get the vibe from him. The vibe he puts out is what? I'm not going to play back-to-backs maybe for the rest of my career. What are they supposed to do about that? He sets that tenor, right? Well, we got to fire because he's been used to setting that tenor. 610-632-0975 back after that. give you some sound. This is Nick Nurse on the podium yesterday, getting into a little back and forth with reporters. I believe one of the reporters was Kyle Neubeck. The other was Unwanted Kiss. And as he was processing the notion of trying to find a female to kiss, I guess he asked a couple questions to Nick Nurse.
Nick, the league's release yesterday effectively said the problem was not that Joel didn't play based on the medical information. The problem was whatever was communicated by I don't know if it was just you, Daryl, whoever it might have been. So what do we need to know? Like, what is the gap there? And what is to your knowledge, what is the reason that you guys were fine?
I didn't even know we were fine. We were fine. That was made public. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, there's a press release that they said that your comments as an organization don't match, I guess, wherever Joel is. So I'm just trying to get from that place post-Olympics. You're happy he went. He's on schedule. He doesn't play. And the league says it's fine that he doesn't play. But we've never heard anything from August till now other than he's on schedule, everything's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to have to punt that one on you. You're going to have to ask Daryl or Dave or Elton or somebody that one. I'm not even, like I said, I didn't even know we got fired yesterday. I got several games to coach and lots of things going on.
Okay, so he doesn't know he was fine, which I call BS on anyway. Clearly, you know when your team's getting fined. That's probably communicated to you, but it's like out in space, visibly, that you're getting fined because the whole world knows it. But then, like, he goes on and he's pressed on the situation about how it's unfair to fans. So here's what he had to say about that.
That's a big question to lead off with. Listen, our guys are working out. They are making progress. They're going to have workouts tomorrow, Friday. We hope to have a better indication of where they are by then. They're listed as out. Within the league guidelines, we have to list them. That's why the league has those guidelines, and we list them that way. Well, we don't have all the information all the time. The reason you do is the day before is you want to make sure. I think at this point, again, everything's always fluid, but I think at this point, the first back-to-back coming up, I would imagine he would not be part of, but I don't know which end of that yet.
What you want to sort through that? Would you like to decipher what that was?
I got to be honest. I feel bad for Nurse, man. I feel bad for him because the organization is leaving him out to dry right now. What is he supposed to say? He got himself in trouble last week when he said that Joel wasn't light enough or strong enough. So they probably told him don't say anything. And now he's sitting there, and people are hitting him with these questions. These are not questions that I think the head coach should have to answer. These are questions that Daryl Morey should have to answer. And I wish Daryl Morey agreed to come on the show this week so that you could ask him these questions. I feel bad for Nurse. I don't know what he can say right now. He's got to be losing his mind. If you're Nick Nurse, when that press conference is over, if I'm in the back, I'm throwing things. I'm yelling at Daryl Morey, my boss. I'm telling him, you can't do this anymore. You got to go out there and speak publicly because they're just throwing him out. They're throwing him to the fire every single night now.
I put this request into the Sixers yesterday, asking if I get Morey to come on the show for an interview today or Friday. The retort that I got from the Sixers, thanks, Mike, don't expect anything this week. But once we have a better sense of returns for our two guys, I'll touch base. Well, the whole issue is why you don't have the two guys, right? So when you get the two guys back, I'm not necessarily interested in that premise.
Well, yeah, then it's easy. Well, look, they're back. We just won on Saturday or whatever it is.
Right. So all I can tell you is that I attempted. I thought that it would give him a forum to explain what's up. Frankly, Daryl Morey should be up there with their director of sports medicine or the training staff, and they should be answering the questions. Because you're just letting a fan base hang out there, and it's not right. It's not fair because that means you're hijacking the franchise away from people who pay for the franchise, basically.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I was excited for this season too. I think most people were, and this is how it starts.
Let's go to Danny in Philly. Danny, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Danny.
Hey, this Wax Bean Danny. Mike, thanks for having me. I'm glad you're back. So you find the uphill battle with Bill, man. He want to get a kid, Sour Patch Kids, over Skittles.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, Sour Patch Kids are popular. Don't get me wrong, but the Skittles is like,
the kids out there drooling all over the porch, man. You got napkins with that. Now,
the Skittles is an inferior candy.
Yeah, okay, all right. So I got a question. This thing with Embiid, right? Hey, Bill, I got a question for you. How would you feel if the Flyers' best goaltender was, say, Joe Okachek, right? And he won the Hart Trophy, and he won, what's the one for the goalies? The
Vezina.
The Vezina. And you see him out there stopping all the goals for Team America to win a gold medal. And then the start of the season, the Flyers come out and say, hey, he's not going to be available. He's got to change his transmission for the next 2 weeks. As a fan, how would that make you feel?
Danny, we're on the same page, man, and I've been consistent with this. I don't like that Joel Embiid is not ready to start the season. I do think it's unacceptable, and if it's because he played in the Olympics, it's even more unacceptable. I'm okay with load management going forward, but we're all on the same page here. I think Mike is spot on when he says this sets a bad tone for the start of the season that Joel is not ready to play. So, yeah, if it was in the Flyers, I'd feel the exact same way if the guy wasn't ready.
Now, here's one more follow-up. I love your show, but I got to ask you this. If you're saving him from the playoffs, you lost how many years in a row in the second round? So what exactly is that saying? Saving him for what?
Well, they're saying they're saving him for a better run since they added Paul George. Is what they're saying.
Okay. All right. Well, what has that got you in the last 10 years?
Well, they didn't have Paul George the last 10
right.
years.
They didn't have Paul George. But here's the thing. But you did have him. So at what point is he going to elevate? You couldn't drag Giannis off the court. Giannis was the only one playing last year. What was he doing? Dropping 50. He did whatever it took to show that he was an MVP.
Oh, he missed the playoffs last year.
Well, no, what he was
2 years ago?
Didn't he play? Had to play like a play-in game or something?
I don't know if he played. I think he was out for the whole playoffs. That's why they lost.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Did you just pull a fictional goalie name out of your hat?
Yeah.
Dan Okelchek you went with?
Joel, I thought he called him.
Joel Okelchek. Oh, all right.
Oh, it's a good hockey name right there.
Yeah. All right, man. I just want to tell you I love y'all show, man, and have a wonderful, safe day.
All right, Danny. All right, then we got another costume coming into the picture. Yeah, Jim Antez.
Oh, we got the average Joes.
Sales executives. You get the average
Here,
Joes.
come behind me over here, Jim.
Yeah, you got to come in. There you go.
There it is.
Now, does that beat?
Get the YouTube on.
Does that beat? That doesn't beat Dylan, does it?
Solid costume, but it doesn't beat Macho
costume.
Man.
I think you lose to Dylan, dude. Sorry.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Oh, it's silliness here. Dressing up. We missed the boat. Did we miss the boat today? Not dressing up.
I asked you if you wanted to dress up.
I don't really have a. I would wear a mask, and that's cheating. It's really not an unusual costume, is it?
You could have done me a favor instead of having to look at that face all day.
Yeah, I had this bald, ugly goof mask, ghouly looking thing I could have did the show with.
See, I always felt like wearing a mask on Halloween was not the right move.
Right.
Especially if you went to a party.
It shows no creativity.
Well, and you would have to take it off. There's no way you go through a whole party with a mask.
You could.
Well,
like, I was going through a whole show talking through a mask. That would have been
no.
Mask or jersey? Which one's lazier?
Oh, the jersey, probably. See, but I always looked at it when I was single. If you're going to a Halloween party, maybe you'd meet a nice young lady. You wear the mask. Your hair's messed up when I had hair. You're sweating. You know?
I got to be honest. The Villanova shirt from a Temple guy, you got to put that degree that you got from Temple. That's got to be like suspension of the degree. Like you.
We've tried to talk to people about this.
You got to hear
it. Take it back.
The reason that he even likes Villanova is wild to me. It was like his great aunt used to date someone there. It's something crazy.
That's irrelevant because once you give your heart to the school and the school is the enemy of Villanova, you can't be a Villanova guy anymore. You can't be a Temple guy who roots for Villanova.
Listen, Brendan is not the brightest bulb. He also is against suntan lotion and comes in here burned to a crisp every summer. Did you see him
Yeah.
last year? I actually felt bad for him. It
Yeah.
looked like
Yeah.
he was swollen.
Yeah, he needs sunscreen.
He makes me look tan.
All right. The Mike Missanelli Show. Coming up at 12:30, by the way, we will talk some football issues. The Jaguars. We get a scouting report on that lousy team from the guy who covers it for ESPN.com.
Mike, this could be the definition of a trap game.
Michael Durant. Oh, you think this is a trap game?
We'll talk about it.
Oh, all right. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. So, did you see it's Halloween? Happy Halloween, everybody. Be safe out there, you kiddies. If you're listening out to be safe. Stay with your parents. And
focus on school.
If you're
listening right
if you're
now.
a grown-ass kid, come on with the candy collections. You know, I get a lot of like the late teenagers come to my door. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well, for what? Candy? Bag of candy?
Now, do you require a costume? I don't like when people show up to the door with no costume just to collect their candy. You got to have a costume.
Why would they show? Really?
You haven't had that with the teenagers? They just show up? It's like, what are you supposed to be?
No.
What are you?
No, I refuse to give them candy.
But I will say this. When I was an attorney, I did personal injury. So all the parents out there, everybody's concerned about the candy, and you check the candy as you should. But the real danger on Halloween, and this is serious, the real danger on Halloween is kids getting hit by cars. Like, that's where you need to really be safe. So make sure they're wearing bright costumes or they have lights on them. That's where we saw people get worried. Oh, let me check your candy. Make sure the kids are wearing bright clothes, because that's when things – and if you're a driver out there tonight, be vigilant, please.
That's a good sentiment.
Yes.
Did you see this beef? Le'Veon Bell and Fletcher Cox.
I did, and look, I love Fletch, but, man, that was a rough-looking shirt.
So
I didn't like the look.
Fletcher Cox, was this during before an Eagles game, or where was that? Probably.
I think it was Monday night, right? Was it Monday night?
I think that was like a long time ago.
Oh, was it? Michael Strahan's interviewing him.
Oh, it's a long time ago.
I thought that was from well before the last couple days.
I don't know when it was, but I did see it, and he was wearing what looks like a purple blouse.
It was just a weird look with a suit.
Yeah, it looked like a lady's blouse underneath a suit, like a silk blouse, low cut.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a low cut.
And it covers your breast area.
It's from before Super Bowl 57. I don't know how Le'Veon Bell just got to it now.
Really?
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was recent.
Le'Veon Bell, they must have just seen it, because a day ago, he tweets, LOL, grown-ass man wearing a blouse. I'm done. Laughing, crying emoji. They got to him. And Fletcher retorts by saying, you need my number, boy? I don't do that internet talk. I'm a real MF. TTM.
Talk to me.
Yes, exactly.
Talk to me.
So
you got to love Fletcher, though. He's not playing games. Pick up the phone and call me if you want. But it was Fletch, man. And Fletch is a good dresser. I've seen him before. That wasn't his best look.
He pushed the envelope. Maybe the blouse looks in. I don't know.
I've never seen it. I've never seen.
I think you'd look good in a
low
blouse.
cut.
You should wear a blouse.
Maybe that's what I should have been Fletcher Cox for Halloween. I could have worn that.
No,
today.
in real life, you fashioned yourself as a hip man. Go to the latest fashion. Wear a blouse in here.
Sometimes you got to push the envelope.
Wear a big chain. You got to have a big chain with the blouse.
Well, that's what I think it was for. He wanted to show the chain.
Oh, yeah, he had the big chain going.
So, but as we're talking about the Eagles, Mike, I am a little bit concerned that this is the definition of a trap game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And that term gets overused in sports. But you look at all of the factors heading into this game, and this is why it's the definition of a trap game. The Eagles have won 3 straight. They've had back-to-back road games that were blowouts. They're going up against an inferior opponent. They're at Dallas next week. You look at the last 5 seasons, the Philadelphia Eagles, in the week before having to go to Dallas, are 1-4. And this is also potentially Doug Peterson's make-or-break game. If he loses this game, he's probably fired. So do the players show up to play for him? Now, I'm not making an excuse. The Eagles need to win this game. The Jags have no wide receivers. They just traded away their left tackle. But when we talk about a trap game, this is the definition of one.
I can see that dynamic. I just don't think that quarterback's good enough to beat the Eagles on their home field. He hasn't shown me enough consistency to think he can pull that off.
And without any weapons. And we don't know if their starting running back's going to play because ETN's questionable too.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
But it's just
7.5 point line?
7.5.
Yeah. See, Vegas doesn't even think that's a trap.
No.
If they thought it was a trap, that'd be a lower line.
I hope you're right. Look, and I'm not making an excuse for them. If this team doesn't show up to play this week with everything we just mentioned and the quarterback and all that, that would come down on the head coach.
I think it's possible they played down a level early on, but they wound up winning this by at least 10.
Yeah. But somebody on YouTube, Bill, I know what you're doing. You're giving Sirianni an excuse. I am not. If Sirianni doesn't notice what I'm noticing, saying, hey, this could potentially be a trap game and have his team ready to play.
Dog mentality
then he should be criticized next week. So Sirianni needs to acknowledge this as well and say, hey, you know what? I got to keep these guys focused.
See where these people go with you?
Always, man.
The least little thing brings them right back.
Yeah, but you know what?
You poured the mold for this.
And I have to go over the top in my praise of Sirianni because I still hear it. I'm listening to the morning show this morning, and they're talking to somebody. Oh, well, what happened to the offense recently? Is it just because Nick Sirianni got out of the way? Like, why is that where everybody goes? It's when things that are good with the Eagles, it's up. Sirianni must have just hidden in the closet. And then when things are bad, that's Sirianni getting in the way. You can't have it both ways.
You know why it is. And you refuse to acknowledge it. You know exactly why it is.
Because they don't
Why
like
don't
him.
they trust them? They don't trust them. They don't like him, or they don't trust them. So it'll take a series of wins to kind of dilute that whole thing.
Well, I tweeted something out the other night, and you commented underneath, dude.
That's all I said was, dude. What was your tweet?
My tweet was that Nick Sirianni already has the best winning percentage in Philadelphia Eagles franchise history, and if they win on Sunday, he will be the quickest coach to 40 wins in franchise history.
And all that required was a dude response because why would you have to tweet that out? Unless you're trying to throw bouquets his way. That's what people see. You're constantly throwing bouquets. That was an overt bouquet. Normally, it's a little slicker. You come right over the top and saying, you idiots, here's the reality.
And what I wrote in that tweet was not opinion. It was fact.
But why would
there was no opinion in there.
Why would you feel the need to produce that fact unless you're trying to buff him up?
Maybe a little bit was that. I get frustrated. I get frustrated with the fan base that doesn't appreciate that this team wins at an unprecedented clip.
But then you wonder why they come at you. You brush up against it. They have that notion about Sirianni. You go, yeah, how about this? Let me stuff this in your nostrils. And then they go, okay, well, that's why they don't give you any solace.
And they would be wrong.
Let's go to Mitch in Phoenix. Mitch, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mitch
in Phoenix, believe it or not, guys, I turned on the heat this morning. It got a little chilly in this house.
My God. After you carpet about the heat out there, all of a sudden now it's cold?
Well, you know, the weather patterns all over the world, including your town, is upside down.
Yeah, it's 80 degrees here today.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No.
You got those,
anyway,
Mitch, you have those plantation shutters in Phoenix to make sure you keep the heat out? Is that what you have to use down there?
You don't need a plantation shutter. They're very attractive, but they're also very expensive.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because they're pricey, man. When I had blinds put in, I couldn't afford those plantation shutters.
Well, you should have asked Missanelli. He's got them all over the house.
I don't have them.
Okay.
First of all, it's 68 degrees where you are. All right? Wait, you're crying cold to me? 12 o'clock,
No.
12 o'clock, it's going to be 72. When did you wake up? At 9 a.m., it was 55. It's cold?
Well, I woke up at 5 o'clock, and I think it was 48.
All right. Okay.
Anyway, this is what I call for, not to talk about the plantation shutters. You think when Mrs. Nurse comes down to breakfast to join Mr. Nurse, she don't say to him, why did you take this job?
Oh, no, it's a great job to take.
Come on, Mike.
No, it's a great job to take. He was out of a job, and it was a major franchise that outbid another team. Why wouldn't he take it?
Which team is the major franchise?
The Sixers are a major franchise in the league.
You're dreaming. They're the laughing stock of the league.
They're laughing stock. They're in the playoffs every year. They just don't succeed after the second round, and last year not the first. It's not a terrible job to take. Come on, Mitch.
You listen to any media person outside of Philadelphia, they're laughing at the 76ers.
Now they are, because they don't have the two star players. Any team would be looked at and be laughed about that they're losing to a bad team. They don't have their two starters.
Yeah,
but you made the comment. Why would he take the job? Well, the Philadelphia 76ers a good job.
Okay, to end the conversation on a high note, because I know today is a very important holiday, Halloween. You know what Joel Embiid is going as tonight for Halloween?
Is this a dad joke? Go ahead.
No, it's a good joke. You'll like it. You may not think it's one of the better ones, but this is all I can give you right now.
All right.
Moses Malone.
What?
He's going to wear a Moses Malone mask.
What's the relevancy of the?
The relevancy is this. There have been great centers in the league over the last 60 years. He is not one of them. He never will be. And I don't care about his knee anymore.
Oh, you're just hating.
Well, what's
Mitch.
the Moses Malone?
Do we have a cricket drop? That's what we needed for that one.
What was the hook of the Moses Malone joke?
I think what he's saying is Moses was a good center.
What he should have went with was he's going as a productive NBA player.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
That's what he was trying to get to.
Yeah.
He didn't get there because it's Mitch, but he tried.
Yeah, he tried.
we go from Mitch to Ish. Oh, Lordy.
Ish has been solid caller lately.
Let's go to Ish at 11. Look at our screen back there. It melted down. Look at Bray's trying to.
He's got to fix it.
Yeah. All right, there it is. He has to shut it. Oh, there it goes. All right, Ish from Levittown. What's up, Ish?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
I got you, buddy.
Okay. I finally, I know I called a couple days ago. I finally agreed with you. Last night really pushed me over the edge with the Sixers. I don't know what's going to happen after that loss to Detroit. I agree with you. I think we need answers, and I think it was disrespectful for Daryl Morey not to come on your show and explain to the fans at least what's happening. Like, y'all.
Hey, listen, man, all I could do is ask. We're the flagship station, and they're probably saying, well, you're ripping us every day. Why would we want to accommodate you? I get that, but maybe you want to accommodate you because you get the word out to people. That would be nice.
Well, yeah, they deserve it. Okay, and besides that, Mike, I have a question for you. I know, like, when you first started your show again, you said you would not talk about politics, and I don't know the reason why, but
because it exhausts me. I'm tired of wrestling people on the air, so I don't do it anymore.
I get it, but I think your opinion matters because when your last show you used to talk about it. I just want to get your take on the Trump rally.
Yeah, I got no take on it. I got none. I got no take.
Yeah,
I really don't. It's so ridiculously ridiculous to me that I don't have anything to say about it. Like anything I would say is so obvious that I just can't say anything about it.
Yeah, we're trying to be an escape from all that Ish. We appreciate the call, man. We're trying to be an escape.
I don't want to. I do comment on my Twitter about it, but it's like I really don't have anything more to say. It's self-explanatory, so I just let it.
Yeah, I think everyone knows your position.
I let it explain.
Yeah. All right. No, you're too busy ripping into the Sixers right now.
Well,
we got other fish to fry today.
Right. And I got this podcast going, which I'm spending a lot of time on and effort. So the political thing will take care of itself.
You were on NBA radio this morning, too.
I was on NBA radio this morning. Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine, their fine program called The Starting Lineup, talking about this issue. And they actually did talk about my podcast, which I was surprised. So.
Let me ask you something, though, because I know we're frustrated about Joel, obviously. We've been talking about it for the week because it just seems like new stuff comes every day that gets you more frustrated. If Joel comes back healthy and Paul George comes back healthy, you like this team?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I've been pretty consistent on looking at this team and saying these role players that they accumulated don't really do anything for me. It looks like they've got a lot of depth, I guess, or experienced players. I just don't know how much they help because they're kind of older players. There's no new energy comes off the bench. There's no new energy.
Yeah, because when those guys are healthy, I'm assuming your starting five includes Martin and Oubre. Caleb Martin, not KJ, even though KJ's gotten starts. Right? Do you think that's the starting five?
I don't know why either of them would start. I would bring both of those guys off the bench. I'd play Yabusele as a power forward just to eat minutes and do little things, and you got four other guys that you can rely on. And then you can bring some energy off the bench with those two guys. In the starting lineup, they really don't do that much for me.
So you're going to bring Oubre. Wait, and who else would you have? Who was in place of Oubre? Who's your other starter?
Yabusele.
Yeah, but who's your other one? Because you got Embiid, George, Maxey, Yabusele. Who's your fifth?
I guess it would have to be Oubre.
Unless you started Eric Gordon
or Caleb Martin. I don't want to see Eric Gordon. I gotta be honest with you. Eric Gordon does zero for me. I don't understand it. Like what could he do for a team at his age? He looks like he's overweight to me. Maybe that's the way he's always. I don't think he's always been that way. He looks so stocky now.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, Lowry's always been a little stocky.
Lowry doesn't help you that much either. To be honest with you, this is what I'm saying. These older guys that what are you hoping for? There's no new energy.
Could they also be eyeing the trade deadline too?
Maybe. KJ Martin, what does he do for you? He's a younger guy that may be tradable. I don't know what do you see anything in his game that impresses you?
KJ?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, he's going to play 12 minutes maybe.
So what are they? Like what roles do these guys fill that make a team, it gives a team continuity? I thought it was flawed when they reached out, but it's almost like they were just picking guys out, like off a tree. This guy's available. Let's throw him in there. Like there's no new like the newest youngest energy they have is Ricky Council IV, and I don't even know if he could play. He's all over the place. But you need if you look at NBA teams, they at least have a young, energetic player who can provide some of that energy off the bench.
Yeah, and if people out there are thinking, oh well, the rookie, no, it's not Jared McCain. He's
610-632-0975. We'll get some football issues coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. We'll also have the news at noon, and we'll have our Jacksonville Jaguars reporter. What are the Eagles up against this week? Bill says it could be a trap game. We're back after this. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's brought by 12 o'clock hour. Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. You get 0% financing for 72 months, $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's noontime. Everybody enjoying their lunch right now. You're in line trying to listen to us with the iPods there. I know people are listening.
AirPods.
With the AirPods, is that what they call them? AirPods?
Talking about the little headphone things?
Yeah.
Yeah, AirPods.
They're not called iPods?
The iPod.
I have them. I use them. I'm missing them.
The iPod has essentially been replaced with your phone now.
Okay.
Do they still sell the iPod?
I think you can get an iPod. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, the iPod was the little pod that had the music in it.
See, I'm thinking now.
What was it?
It was basically the iPhone before the iPhone.
Yeah, it was basically an iPhone, but it just had
iPhone
music.
without the phone.
Okay, yeah.
See, I think we need to, because we're about
I still have one of those, I think.
Do you?
Yeah.
We're about to do the news at noon, and you're going to tell Ray, and then they'll hit the intro to it. I think we got to include the 1540 SAT somewhere into the introduction.
The Ray score?
Dude, that blew me away. People in the YouTube chat this morning to start the show were saying, can we please address the 1540 again?
The one thing that was found, because my parents were listening yesterday, of course, as they do, and they wanted to go see what they could find. They did find the Penn State admission letter.
Oh.
So they do have that. I do have a picture of that for you, Mike, so you can be assured that that was something that happened.
I could just imagine the phone call after the show. Ray's mom or dad called up and said, you tell that bastard Missanelli you did get accepted.
Well, my question is, why
Don't you think, Ray?
Why didn't you go to an Ivy League school with that number?
Why would I pay Ivy League?
Oh, so it would be.
I wanted to do this. I always knew I wanted to do this.
With that
so
score, you couldn't get a scholarship of some sort?
Well, he did the
I
Temple,
did
right?
the Temple, yeah. But, I mean, I got money from everyone except...
Why wouldn't you go to Penn?
Because I'm sure I'm sure I'd still be, like...
Did you apply to any Ivy League schools?
No, my dad wanted me to apply to Penn.
You would have probably got in there with a 1540.
That was what he wanted me to be able to say,
Well, clearly you wanted to stay home. So, like,
again with the staying home.
Really,
Penn State staying home.
No,
I'm sorry. I can't do this conversation
I'm
again.
not talking about Penn State. I mean, you could have gone to Dartmouth. You could have gone to Brown. You could have gone to... like, why wouldn't you... If you wanted to stay home, why wouldn't, with that score, you have gone to Penn?
I wanted to do this.
So what? Look at it. You can't... If you go to Penn, you can't do this?
The opportunities at Temple, I was sold on. As soon as I got there and got a chance to tour the place and see what happens there, I was sold on the opportunities.
Were you in John Kincaid's class or no?
No. He came back teaching after I was gone. No. Silvano was. I was not.
Silvano was. Hey, look, whatever Ray did, the decision was obviously the right one. He gets to be the producer for Mike Missanelli and maybe even more importantly, Bill Calloway.
And meanwhile...
I get to do the news at noon.
A guy who graduates from Penn is making $400,000 to start.
Yo, being somebody...
I could have done something else. I'm not saying I might have miscalculated in that regard, but I wanted to do this.
Ray, being someone who had a different career before this, and I made good money being an attorney, it's not about the money. It really isn't. It should never be about the money. There are so many people out there who are miserable in their jobs who make a lot of money. You do what makes you happy, my friend.
Rent's due tomorrow. You tell me if my good vibes pay my
Let me
landlord.
tell you something. If you don't make money after a while, you're not happy.
No, but if you could find a way to make money in a job you love, that is heaven.
Yeah. Work on that.
Oh, you don't love this job?
I love this job. Who said
it's
find
the
a way to
other
make
one.
money?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Mr. 1540 SAT to present us with the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The news at noon should be at a higher intellectual level if only he had gone to Penn instead of Temple. So instead we get the common man
You're getting
stuff.
Ray worked up.
Exactly.
Because he is Temple proud.
So he is. He's the cherry and the white all over.
All right. We're going to just move to the news at noon.
There's Ray with the news at noon.
Yeah. Sorry. We're going to go look at the stocks. We're going to tell you what to invest in. All right. Let's go out to Indianapolis, where things are continuing to develop following Anthony Richardson's tired comments that got him benched. Couple of things yesterday coming out from Indianapolis that suggest things not going so well right now. Michael Pittman was Also very honest when he met with the media and honest about how we found out about the benching of one, Anthony Richardson.
Well, I first found out through social media, but then I messaged somebody from our front office to see if it was confirmed, and then it was.
And then how were you formally told, I guess?
Well, I mean, everybody's seen it, so we haven't necessarily talked about it, but everybody kind of knows, obviously. We've had walkthrough and team meetings, and so, it's not like it's a secret now.
Okay.
That was Michael Pittman?
Michael Pittman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's Shane Steichen dropping the ball a little bit there. Before that hits the media, you should have a team meeting and say, look, we're changing course at our starting quarterback.
Ironically, Shane Steichen had something to say about it, right?
Oh, Shane Steichen was asked, is your team unified behind the decision?
I can't speak for our team.
Oh, wow. Isn't that your job?
You can't speak for our team.
I can't speak for our team.
What is that?
Oh, man.
That's an easy yes.
You know what I'm going to use right now.
It's not an easy yes, because then you say yes, then it means the teammates didn't want him as a quarterback. But there's got to be a way to answer that.
I swear, if you turn this into a Sirianni thing, I'm going to come in there and
we're going to use this for the 2022 team that everybody gives Steichen credit for and not Nick Sirianni. Maybe Steichen's not that great of a head coach, Ray.
I might have to go back to school for a new profession when I come in there.
I like Shane Steichen. See, the problem they made is they thought they could duplicate the Jalen Hurts offense with Anthony Richardson. They took their shot. I just don't think Anthony Richardson is Jalen Hurts, unfortunately, for Indianapolis.
Well, they're having plenty of troubles right now. So that's what we got out of Indianapolis. I want to move on to Pittsburgh. And you remember our conversation yesterday? I got a couple of texts about this. People loved our conversation about the coaches in uniform. Ironically, yesterday, one of the Steelers coaches, their special teams coordinator, Danny Smith, was talking about how great the season's been for them and suggested that the celebrations with his team has made him consider being in uniform on the sideline.
We are definitely in this together. But I told Dan to stay the hell away from me. And I got 300-pounders shaking me and stuff. Dan Morgan shakes me after that one game. He said, I didn't know you were so light. I said, what the hell you think I do? I ain't lifting weight, 300 pounds. I ain't you. Stay the hell away from me. Okay, just crazy things like that. And it's been fun from that. But they beat the hell out of me that day, man. I'm sore. I didn't even play. I'm probably going to be the first coach you see on the sideline in the shoulder pad and helmet.
You know, Danny Smith was the special teams coordinator here at one point.
How many years ago was that?
He was laughed at as a joke. Like, he was almost considered a cartoon. He'd be bouncing around like a kid on Adderall, and he had a big wad of
always a wad of gum
chew in his jaw. Yeah, Danny Smith was a special team coordinator here. He got blasted here.
I didn't know. He played his high school ball at Central Catholic.
Central Catholic what?
In PA.
He's a Pittsburgh guy.
Pittsburgh Central Catholic?
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Never mind.
What's Central Catholic here?
Yeah, what am I thinking of?
I think of either Central High School or anyone in the Catholic League.
Yeah, Central Catholic.
Wait, what's the Catholic that I'm thinking of?
I have no idea
Any
what
of
you're
the
thinking
Catholic.
of.
Roman,
Anyway. Yeah, he was with the Eagles in 95 to 98.
Yeah, he was a cartoon. I couldn't wait to get this guy out of here. And now he's big success.
He's a
big 70 of the Steelers.
Big success. But it still doesn't change my opinion. Baseball managers should not be wearing uniforms.
It's the wrong take. It's the other way. You want this to go the other way. You want all the coaches in uniform.
No.
Please. All right, last thing here. The least surprising thing in the world. Yesterday on the Kay Adams show, Gronkowski did his weekly hit. They got into the conversation about the Yankees fans and the ones that had grabbed at Mookie Betts' glove. And I'll just let you take a listen.
What we're seeing here.
This is actually the first time I'm seeing this live. Okay. And here's a little fun fact. That guy right there grabbing Mookie Betts' glove
Don't tell me you know
was
him.
my friend in college.
Gronk, stop it right now.
He was on the ice hockey team, the club, Arizona Wildcats team, ice hockey team. And let me tell you, the whole hockey team, they were absolute maniacs. They were undescribable, just how wild animals, yes, how wild these guys were. Him doing that represents him very well. I mean, he is all in for his teams. He is all in for the Yankees. I remember him talking about the Yankees all the time, how he loves them so much. And that describes him perfectly. just doing whatever it takes to help his team out. But
Are
he's
you
a
wa-
beauty.
okay,
He is a beauty.
Okay,
And I
hold
just
on.
want to say congratulations.
Congratulations!
For shining when your moment came.
Gronk's an idiot.
He's an idiot. Like, when does he drop the? I like to see people evolve. He's going to play that character first. Well, he is that character.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He is.
He can't mature.
Hey, he's making a career out of it. But did he really know the guy? Was this a joke, or he really knew the guy?
Probably knew the guy. Yeah.
Seemed like he did. Seemed like he was going pretty deep into, hey.
But he's going to congratulate the guy for that type of behavior?
That's his shtick. Be a moron and stand out as a moron, than this guy did. So that would be right up his alley.
Yeah, Gronk.
Do everything he can for his team. Gronk's acting like that guy was one of the 9 on the field for the Yankees.
What did he do? He didn't do anything for his team.
Well,
He didn't do anything.
He was trying to do something.
He was trying to take a ball out of a glove. He didn't help. Wasn't helping.
Well, I'm not telling you that I agree with that sentiment. I'm saying that Gronk's.
He's an
But
idiot.
of course, Gronk knew him.
Yeah. Like, there was one professional athlete or former professional athlete that was going to be friends with that guy. That checks.
What do you think Kay Adams, Bill? What do you think?
Attractive. I don't know what she probably looks. First of all, she does a great job. I think she does a nice job with these players because her interviews are more conversational. She gets them to kind of open up a little bit. So I think she does a good job there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the looks department, she's attractive. No, you don't think?
Oh yeah. Well, I just asked you.
Oh, you set me up.
I have no opinion.
I'm the one that's going to get in trouble now.
Yeah, I want you to deal with your wife on the chat.
Nah, my wife's not.
No, I got to say, honey, you're the most beautiful woman on the chat. I didn't. Those comments I just made about Kay Adams. No, I was just joking.
My wife is the least jealous woman out there, and she is the hottest one in the chat. And that's not.
Suppose Kay Adams is on the chat.
My wife.
And then who would be the hot?
Kay Adams can't hold a candle to my wife. Can't hold a candle.
Time for a break. Mike Missanelli Show continues after this. Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Coming up at 12:30, Michael DeRocco, ESPN Jags reporter, will talk about the Jags, what kind of things they present for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday, which Bill thinks could be a trap game. Well, if the Eagles lose this game, all that goodwill will be
Yeah, they can't lose.
If they lose the game, your boy will take the heat. You know?
Oh, they can't. And this one should fall on Sirianni. If they lost this game, that should fall on Sirianni because it is a trap game, and it's up to the head coach to have the team ready. But one of the things I think that may get fans frustrated is we think we found this new formula, which is run the football, run the football. But you look at the Jags defense, they're a top 10 rushing defense, and they're 31st in passing defense. So this may be a week where they come out and they're throwing the football, and you're going to see people getting angry saying, run! But really, the matchups would tell you it's probably a game where you win through the air.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll talk to Michael DeRocco coming up. I got a question for Ray, though, based on our last segment and the 1540 number. Is it possible, Ray, that you are the highest-ranked SAT score to even go to Temple?
No, definitely not. Temple's had a Rhodes Scholar. There's no way that I'm the highest SAT.
I don't know. I don't know if that Rhodes Scholar had 1540.
According,
I didn't think Temple's like in 800 area usually.
No, it's not.
No,
like that.
Yeah.
According to our friend Embiid on the chat, he says getting a 1540 on your SAT and going to Temple is like winning the Powerball and buying yourself a T-shirt.
I'd push back on that one entirely. I love the 4 years I had at Temple. I'd do it all again if I had the choice again.
I can see Ray walking through the campus with a sign. 1540.
Well, yeah, but listen, we're not giving Temple enough credit. Temple is a good school.
My roommates ripped me incessantly for my one studying habit. Like and when it came to school,
you were one of those
I cared.
Studier.
Yeah, I cared.
Yeah, I had a roommate like that too.
Yeah. So that's the one area I think I could have done a better job. I mean, in law school you had to, but in college, maybe I spent a little too much time with sports and partying and things like that, where I had to catch up towards the end to get grades that were good enough to get into Temple Law. Because Temple Law is not an easy school to get into.
No.
I remember when we went around the room to start. I mean, there were kids from all types of Ivy League schools that went to Temple Law. I'm thinking, man, I'm probably the dumbest kid here.
Well, luckily you don't feel that way and you walk through the doors here.
You were in whole no science at 860.
Yeah.
It's funny because my college roommate, we always pull him out to go to the bar. My senior year, we lived at my neighbors in the apartment we lived in were crazy kids from Pittsburgh. They didn't even care. School was a foreign concept to them. So they did everything else but school. So it was every night, let's go get a beer. And with the one guy, my one friend Freddie from next door was a golfer, like a really good golfer. And he would move all the furniture out of his living room. And he hung a big woolen blanket, and there was that cheap indoor-outdoor carpeting in the apartments.
Yeah.
And he would hit 3-woods off the carpet into the blanket. Well, he sculled one and went under the blanket, and it went like he hits it at such a high velocity. It went in the wall like a perfect circle. So like it was embedded into the drywall, right? So instead, this is how I fixed it. He went out in the hallway. He got an outlet cover from the hallway outlet, and just screwed it over his.
That didn't plug into anything.
No, he just screwed it over the golf ball so he wouldn't get hung on the security deposit.
Smart move right there. That's a very smart move.
Oh, let's go to Dave in Burlington. Dave, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Dave.
Hey, how are you? I need you all to forgive me. I have a complaint about the Sixers. I just got to get it off my chest. And maybe someone will hear it where they will understand how this whole Embiid thing affects people. I'm 52, been a Sixers fan since 81. George McGinnis' first T-shirt my mother's watched. He with Doc, Barkley, Iverson. And never has my mother said she wanted to go to a Sixers game until she turned 80. And she came to me and said, hey, David, I want to go see that Embiid play, because she doesn't pronounce Embiid. It's Embiid with a B. I said, I got you, Mama. Get her tickets to the game. We get to the game for 2 weeks. I had to hide from her that he was not playing. We get to the game.
Oh.
They put a name on the jumbotron, happy 80th birthday, with all the first quarter. Where's Embiid at? And finally I said, Mama, he's not playing. She said, why? Because he's hurt. She said, I thought he was hurt last year. I said, I know, because she doesn't watch basketball. So long story short, you know who my mother ended up rooting for the rest of the game when she realized? Tobias Harris, because that's the only other face she recognized as a non-basketball fan.
Oh.
So in the fourth quarter, she's going, yay, Tobias. But I can't tell my 80-year-old mother that she's cheering for the wrong team because the guy she wanted to see play was hurt. So maybe if a Sixers official hears something like this, her 80th birthday, my mother was disappointed because she wanted to see Joel Embiid play.
So 7 weeks from now, when they actually put him on the court, you're looking for tickets, right?
Not at all. Well, actually, no, because I have a connection, but that wasn't the point. It was the fact that it was like in real time, this is an example of when they do this load management and the way they're doing it, is that there are people. Like this woman is 80. Never been to
It's a
NBA
total
game.
disappointment to the fans when they don't go and see the stars. There's no question about it. I mean, and it's fraudulent because now you got to guess. You know, you're not buying tickets a day of. Most of the people want to plan. They look at the schedule and they want to go to this game. You have no idea who's going to play.
I feel for Dave. The October game against the Pistons was not one I would have circling my calendar of Embiid's going to suit up that
Probably
night.
ticket availability.
Yeah, but some people get what they could get, right?
His connection goes, I got tickets for that.
Yeah.
Because they would have those tickets like we had them.
But
there's a bigger...
There's an underlying current to that, why are they available? The Pistons stink. You expecting it?
But there's a bigger problem at play here that goes even far beyond the Sixers, and it's the NBA. 82 games is too long, Mike. There's a reason why the NBA had to implement this ridiculous NBA Cup to try to make the regular season mean something early in the season because it just doesn't. The 82 games are too long. They're not going to stop because of money, but the 82 games are too long. That's why I keep cautioning the NFL. Don't expand your season too much because the best thing about the NFL is every week matters. It's the only sport of the four major sports where you could truly say every game matters. You can't say it about any other sport.
You're just going to extend it another week. So that doesn't,
18, they got to stop there. You can't go 20 games, God forbid. 18 games is enough.
They make it worth their while. They go 20 games. Players get more cash. Boom, they're in. 82 games, you can't do anything about it. But you also now maybe should implement, if you're going to get so tied into this load management, then give them a rebate for a game.
Never going to happen.
No, it's never going to happen. So in other words, it's one-sided. You take your chances. Our guys might not be playing, but if they don't play, you don't get anything out of it anyway. Screw you. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Jaguars at the link. Partner Bill thinks this could be a trap game, but I don't know if the Jaguars are playing well enough to pull that off in Eagleville. So for more information on what this team is bringing in here this weekend, let's go to the man who covers the Jags for ESPN.com. His name is Michael DeRocco. He's on the Comcast Business Hotline. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well. How are you guys today?
Fantastic. So tell us about the state of your team right now. Obviously, the familiarity with your head coach, who may be walking the plank right now. But are they going to be representative in this game? They're a heavy underdog.
Yeah, I kind of expect this game to go a little bit like the Packers game did last week, from the standpoint of the Jags are going to stumble around early, make a ton of mistakes, get off to a slow start offensively. They'll start to put a few things together, in that second half. But eventually they'll make the big major mistake that's going to keep them from having a chance to win the game. That's pretty much been the way they've operated all season, with the exception of against the Patriots and against the Colts, where they won those games. But otherwise, it's been pretty much the same thing. Just can't get out of their own way, make a few plays here and there, and then, sometimes get it close, but just can't figure out a way to stop hurting themselves.
All right, so is that a reflection of how this team is coached, or is this a reflection of what their roster is?
Yeah, we debate that over here a ton because, a lot of my thinking is players make plays, obviously, and they're the guys that have to do it on the field. And I haven't had guys tell me that they weren't prepared for a situation. Were they caught in a wrong situation that maybe, like last week, they were in the wrong coverage. The defense coordinator, Ron Nielsen, called the wrong coverage at the end of the game, which allowed a bust that let, the Packers get in position for the game-winning field goal. But, I go back to, pre-snap penalties. Well, that's not a coaching thing. That's you're not supposed to jump offside kind of thing, or you're not supposed to line up in the neutral zone kind of thing. There's a couple of roughing the passer penalties that have overridden some third down stops on defense. Well, that's don't hit the quarterback in the head. It's some of the basic stuff that they're doing here. And I know that down here there's been a lot of pressure on Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator. I'm sure this is like a broken record for you guys up there, talking about Press Taylor, but he's not had, he's not been a problem here this season. So I tend to put this a little bit more on, the players in terms of execution, and they've missed on some guys on the defensive side of the ball badly. Eric Armstead has not helped them at all. Ronald Darby has not helped them at all. He's been one of the worst corners in the league this year. And, it's sort of everybody down here wants like one reason, and it's never one reason. So, at times it's been the mistakes, at times it's been the players, at times it's been, the misses on the roster causing them issues. And sure, have there been some coaching decisions and coaching issues that have crept up? Absolutely. But I can't put one above the other because it's all been an issue, which makes it a giant mess that it is.
Let's talk about their offense a little bit, though, because this kid was supposed to be progressing to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. It really has not happened. Now, I look at his skill players. They're not exceptional. I don't think his offensive line is that good. But talk to me about Trevor Lawrence. Is he growing as a quarterback in this league or not?
Yes, but his problem, the biggest issue with Trevor Lawrence is exactly what happened against the Packers on Saturday. Last Sunday. He made two bonehead mistakes. He throws a pass that was a terrible pass, got intercepted inside the Jags 30, I believe it was. The Packers turned that into a touchdown. He tries to evade a potential sack, and he's not taking care of the ball. He's got it hanging out in his hand, loose, gets knocked out of his hand. The Packers recover. Next play, it's like a 3-yard touchdown pass. But then you go into the fourth quarter, they're down by 10. He leads them on two touchdown drives, a drive to get a field goal and then a touchdown drive without his top three wide receivers. Brian Thomas Jr., Christian Kirk is out, Gabe Davis is out. So he's going with Evan Ingram, 6th-round pick last year, replacing Kirk in the slot. Two little-used wide receivers, and they've got to go with the second tight end as a pass catcher. But he drives them down the field and hurry up. And they score a touchdown on probably one of the 2 or 3 best passes he's thrown all year. and he has them in position to win, and the defense just falls apart there. But that it's the inconsistency that he has that has really kind of held them back at times. And he's got the ability to make every throw, and he has a really good arm, and he has a good mobility in the pocket. He has a good pocket presence, feels things pretty well there. He just makes too many bonehead mistakes that he shouldn't be making at this point. And I don't know if that's going to be who he is for the rest of his career, where he's going to give you a lot of good stuff, but you're going to have to take a little bit of the bad with it. But they don't have a team that's good enough to overcome that, especially defensively. So I think that's sort of holding him and the Jags back a little bit.
Now, Michael, we've seen this story before in the NFL. Head coaches don't usually survive inconsistent quarterback play, and that's the reason Doug Peterson was brought to Jacksonville. So I know you said a lot of this isn't on Doug Peterson, but if they come into Philadelphia this weekend and they don't perform well, is this the last game of Doug Peterson's head coaching career in Jacksonville?
No, I don't think so. They have a late bye, week 12. So they have the Vikings the week after, and then they go to Detroit, and then they have the bye. So if there is going to be a move made in season, and look, if they don't play well in Philly and they don't play well at home against the Vikings, they're going up to Philly and they're going to get, smacked around pretty bad, or excuse me, to Detroit, they're going to get smacked around pretty bad, then I would expect the move to come then. Shad Khan has shown throughout his tenure here that he's really, really patient. He doesn't like to make the move in season. He had really no choice to do it with Urban Meyer because of all the other issues with Urban Meyer. But if there's a move made in season, it will be at that bye week. But I wouldn't expect it on Monday or Tuesday, even if they lose like they did to, the Chicago Bears or the Buffalo Bills. I still think he'll be around at least until mid-November.
What is your perception of Doug? Having covered Doug Peterson down there, what kind of a coach do you think he is? How's he been? I mean, I don't know what the media is like down there as far as the pressure that he faces on an everyday basis like he did up here in Philly, but what's your perception of Doug Peterson?
It's not the same media. We're probably a little bit softer than the Philly media. Hard to believe, I'm sure. I think Doug gets frustrated with Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's the biggest thing because he hasn't been able to reach Trevor in terms of stop the bonehead mistakes and play with some consistency. Because if he can play with consistency, then I think he's got a really good quarterback on his hands. And I think that frustrates him. We talked to Doug after the game last week asking about the rally at the end and the way Trevor played to get him, to a chance to tie the game and stuff. And he really didn't give him a whole lot of praise because he's still he's still annoyed by the 2 turnovers that put him in that situation there. I think he's dealing with some roster issues that he didn't create, especially with some of those guys that I mentioned, the free agents that they brought in that really haven't done anything for them. Gabe Davis is another guy they brought in at wide receiver to kind of help them. And, I think Doug's one of those guys that as a former player, he has a higher standard for some of these guys, maybe than they even have of themselves, I think, at times, especially at quarterback. And, I know the players like him. I know the players get along with him. There was a report, I don't know, about a month ago that he had lost the locker room, and that's not the case. I can state that 100%. I've been in the locker room here in Jacksonville where a coach has lost it and where it has been a bad locker room, and I have not seen any of that here. And I think he's a good coach. I mean, look, you don't win a Super Bowl in the NFL if you're a bad coach. You just can't do it. There's too many things that you could screw up along the way. And he beat Belichick and Brady in a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. And I know Nick Foles had a fantastic year up there, but, man, the Nick Foles that I saw when he was down here was awful. So I don't think Doug is a bad coach. I think he's been hamstrung by a few issues personnel-wise here. And maybe his message hasn't gotten across as well as it should have. But I don't think that that's put him in a bad spot where they can't come back from this, meaning, if Shad Khan does decide to retain him, that next year won't be more like the way 2022 ended with them in the postseason as opposed to the way it's going right now.
All right, last question. We're talking to Michael DeRocco, who covers the Jags for ESPN.com. Michael, the Eagles right now are riding high. They're loving themselves right now. I mean, even the head coach is no longer considered a boob by a lot of people because of what they did last week, right? So they're in a spot where they're smelling themselves a little bit, and then they have Dallas up next. Do you feel a vibe that Jacksonville could come in here and win this game?
Not really. I mean, the Eagles are better. I mean, like they're better. They're better on both sides of the ball. They've got offensive playmakers. This team is one of the worst in the league at defending the pass. They're on pace to have probably the second worst defense in terms of points allowed and total yards allowed per game. I don't see a way where they're going to keep the Eagles under 28 points. I don't see it. And the way this team keeps making mistakes and stumbling all over themselves, they'd have to play a literal perfect game on offense to have a chance to win this game. So I don't see that happening. Now, if the Eagles make a couple of mistakes here and there, or a couple of drop passes, a fumble or whatever, then maybe. But, they're just not on the Eagles level right now. And, can they be in a year or two? Maybe. But they just have too many issues right now to come up there and win that game. Could be competitive, but I don't see them winning it.
All right.
Well, I got one more for you, Michael. This is more of a selfish question because I have him on my fantasy team. Travis Etienne, is he playing this weekend?
That's my expectation that he should play this week. Yeah, absolutely. But it'll be a little bit more of a mix with Tank Bigsby than maybe before the injury because Bigsby has really done a good job kind of stepping in and being the number one running back while he's been gone. So I wouldn't expect a 50-50 split, but it might be closer to 60-40.
All right. There you go.
Gotcha.
Michael DeRocco, thanks for joining us. He covers the Jags. He'll be in Philly this weekend. Thanks for coming up.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it, but I need to know where am I going to get a cheesesteak?
Well, you are going to one of two places. You're either going to John's Roast Pork, which is near the stadium, or you're going to Angelo's. But you're going to have to you do it on Saturday?
I don't think John's is open Saturdays, is it?
Yes, they're open on Saturdays.
They are?
Yeah, they're open on Saturdays. And Angelo's
might be it.
Angelo's, you'll have to wait if you're staying in Center City. There'll be a line on Saturday, so hang in there because it's worth it.
All right, thank you.
All
Appreciate
right,
it, guys.
you got it. There it is.
Yeah, they're not open on Sundays, John's.
Yeah.
That's
That's a big day for him Saturday.
Yeah. I would go Angelo's. I actually thought John's was a little overrated.
Oh, don't, please.
I did.
Do not. You are out of your mind.
I thought John's was a little
overrated. They're 1 and 2, and depending on what day, you can go 1 and 1A. But I wanted. There was the matriarch of the whole place. Her name was Vonda. She recently passed away. Her son John runs the thing. Her husband used to run it for years. But John has had his own health battles, and he's persevered through that. But his mother was an absolute delight, Vonda, and she passed away. So my condolences to the family.
Yeah, great people, overrated cheesesteak.
Dude, there's something wrong with you.
It was overrated.
You're insane. Really.
Angelo's is far superior.
It's not far. They're neck and neck. They're neck and
Does
neck.
John's make their own bread? I don't think they do.
Doesn't matter.
Angelo's makes their own roll.
It doesn't matter. They get a Karanji roll. It's fantastic.
I thought it was Ray, have you ever had John's?
I have. I've enjoyed it. I'm a Jim's on South Street guy, so you guys
you
keep
like
battling.
Jim's.
Yeah,
you like
two of you. I love Jim's. I was happy to see that come back.
I said to question your taste sometimes, man. You could survey 100 people who eat cheesesteaks, and they'll tell you that John's is absolutely fabulous, and you're the lone guy that gets overrated. Like, well, what basis do you have that it's overrated?
I got
John. John's probably listening.
I'm getting.
John, if you're listening, send a couple of your best cheesesteaks.
Maybe I caught you on an off day.
This idiot can learn.
So Mopar on YouTube says it is. But look, I don't want to kill John's. A lot of people love it. So
you just killed him.
I guess I did. In my opinion, this is why they make vanilla and chocolate ice cream. Different people, different opinions. Okay? People are agreeing with me.
It doesn't even make sense that you would say John's is overrated. You could say Pat's or Geno's is overrated. Because they are. But the people that take their time with the cheesesteak and use the best meats and really take pride in producing that sandwich, like, it's 1 and 2 in the city. There's not even any question about it. And believe me, I've had a lot of cheesesteaks.
I was at John's a few years ago. It was the last time I was there. and I remember leaving and being a little disappointed. Maybe I caught him on an off day.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Maybe we'll have to revisit it.
I really don't know how. All right. 610-632-0975. We got another costume.
Oh, my God.
Is that Ricky? Oh, my God.
That's the 96 All-Star right there, yeah.
He may have just beat Dylan. Is he Mama's? Is that
Mrs. Doubtfire he's dressed as?
Is it Mrs. Doubtfire or Mama's house? Remember Mama's house? Is that what that show was called? Remember that show?
Look at the breast on him.
Did you see those things? My God. Ricky, get behind me so that YouTube can see this.
Good Lord. I feel left out today.
Yeah, we really let the station down today.
Well, he's going to be on TV with that?
He's going to be on TV. So he has a costume on. I saw Sil and Ty, too, have costumes on.
You have to wait for the show to see what he...
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want to show himself.
Yeah, he doesn't want to tip it off.
You have to tune in later.
I had no idea what was happening in my studio when that door opened. He checks in usually, but whoa.
Oh, my God.
It's a good look for Ricky.
It is. All right, so my man said no way that Jacksonville can win that game, Bill, and you're thinking it's a trap game. Like, what could possibly happen in this game? The Eagles turn the ball over and get them?
Look, the Eagles need to win this game. There's no reason why, in light of everything that Jacksonville has going on with their personnel, that the Eagles shouldn't win. But that's what makes me think it could potentially be a trap game, and I just think it's up to Nick Sirianni to make sure that this team doesn't overlook the Jags, because we've seen this before. This is exactly why they call it a trap game, because it's the game you're not supposed to lose. It's a game that everyone's saying there's no way. So they got to protect the football, but you heard him talk about how bad of a pass defense they have. So they're probably going to throw the ball this week. Let's just hope Jalen, if he gets back to his turnover ways, then that's exactly how they could lose. Protect the football, make smart decisions. The good news is the Jags blitz the least out of any team in the NFL. 32nd in blitz rate. They don't like to bring a lot of guys. That'll probably bode well for the Eagles.
You see that layer of protection he just dropped in there for Sirianni? It's absolutely on Sirianni. Well, if Jalen Hurts gets back to his turnover ways.
Well, no, it is. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is on Sirianni.
It comes out of his pores. It's like it's deep inside him, this reverence for Nick Sirianni, and he doesn't even know he's doing it.
Hell yeah.
But it just comes out of his pores. It's really an interesting phenomenon.
I have to I got to ask you something, too, when we coming up next.
What's the problem? You got something?
You got
a situation?
Yeah, I need to know. Am I this much of a lazy bastard? I'll explain coming up.
Oh.
I need a ruling on
wait
this.
for this. We roll into the 1 o'clock hour where I'm going to get nuts about the Sixers again. So stay tuned for that. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Holding court.
I want to know how this fan base feels about this. You already know how. Maybe you don't share that. And so the questions I ask you are you not angry about this? Do you not feel like you're being used? And if not, how do you feel? I need to get a feel for what they feel, because this is all about the fan base. They're being led adrift here. I just don't like the mindset of snatching the aura of a team away from them and holding it within your own walls, which is what the Sixers are doing.
The Bill have been pleading their cases.
I'm so torn because I am on board with limiting his games. Just not this way. Not the way you're starting the season, and not with how cryptic everything has been.
I don't understand how you can be on board. I really don't.
Well, he's not going to play 82 games.
How about ramping up by playing lesser minutes? Like, how about getting on the floor for 25 minutes? Like, isn't that ramping up? Like, what is this concept of ramping up? What is he doing to ramp up?
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yeah, your Philadelphia 38ers lost to the Pistons last night. They're half a team. You see what I did there? Actually, I stole that from a tweeter named Ronaman who heard me on the NBA starting lineup this morning.
Technically, it would be 41ers, but
why? Because it's half a season.
Oh, half a season. He's doing half a 76. I get it.
Wait, you didn't get that?
I did not. I thought he was saying half a season.
Right. Can you help me out?
All right, I thought he was saying half the season they were going to play.
This guy's half a Stunad.
41. I didn't know half the 76er. I get it, Ray. 1540 SAT, Ray got it.
I mean, 38. What could 38 possibly mean? Oh, yeah, the 76ers said the Philadelphia 38ers.
Oh, man.
I give up.
I give up. Yeah, we're just playing.
Still got an hour.
It's all just a shtick. I'm
610.
very smart, man.
1 o'clock hour. You're embarrassing. I paid $35,000 a year to send him to Eustis. What?
Oh, man.
Eustis! 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Line Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies. For every heating and cooling job, visit one of Ferguson's count locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. We got a surprise guest that's going to come up in a couple of seconds. But let me just say what I have to say about this Sixers situation. Because in a lot of ways, I feel it's consumer fraud. Apparently, one of my things all these years was teams belong to the fans. Now, I know technically they don't. They're an owner. There's an owner, and it's a business, and he's making the money. I get it. But sports is a different kind of company where it kind of belongs to people, right? But when you keep people out of the loop and you hijack the franchise, this is ours. We're going to do what we want, regardless of our paying customers. It makes me nuts. And this is what's going on now with the Sixers, with this dragging the fan base through the mystery of why their star player isn't playing. And they're saying, we don't even care if he plays because we're trying to preserve him for some concept that he's going to be perfectly 100% fine and dominant in the playoffs. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. Well, then just say, you know what, we're only going to play him half the season because now we're just going to have him work out every day, and so he's not has a chance to be injured. But you can't do that. So what are they doing now? A facsimile of that. They're saying it's not important if he plays, and they have conned their fan base until today, I think. They have conned their fan base to be permissive of the concept of putting him in bubble wrap and saving him for some concept where he might not play anyway. It doesn't make one bit of sense to say, well, he's not ready. He's still ramping up. Why is he still ramping up? You haven't had enough time from when the Olympics finished to the training camp to ramp up and be ready to play for your fans? I'm livid over it.
Yeah, but that's the $1 million question. Because if they are just putting him in bubble wrap, then I'm with you. This is crazy to start the season this way. But we still don't know. Is there a reason he's not ready? You're right. That is what needs to be asked.
Do you think he's actually hurt?
I don't know. They just got fined by the NBA.
Where would he be hurt? Where would he be hurt? Apparently, he's working out with the team. Apparently, he's been in some scrimmages. He wouldn't be doing that if he was hurt. They are preserving him.
I just can't imagine if what you're saying is true. Because why would they want to do this?
If he was hurt, he wouldn't even be playing with the team in scrimmages.
But they could have still load managed him throughout the season and not started it this way and have all this negative backlash towards them and getting fined by the NBA. There's got to be something else going on.
The presumption is if he plays less, he'll be better and more and stronger for the playoffs. That's the only premise here that we're dealing with. And that premise cheats the fans.
I just hope we get answers, Mike. I just hope we get answers.
All right. So, the last hour you made a disparaging comment about perhaps the best cheesesteak in town. All right. And I've been eating these cheesesteaks for a really long time. And I can tell you they are fantastic. They've been recognized by James Beard Awards. And I'm starting to question your ability to taste, first of all. But anyway, the patriarch of the great John Roast Pork is on the line.
I know, he's coming for me.
I thought he would be listening, and he is here to defend his product. He is the great John Bucci. Johnny, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Mike. First of all, I want to tell you, I'm sure you're aware that my mom passed October.
Yes, I mentioned it in the last hour. I loved your mom.
She loved you. She loved bringing you guys, you and Steve, like lentil soup.
She did lentil soup.
More than when she was here and you guys were on Philly Rock, and she'd be like, "Send these 2 quarts over, soup over."
Yeah, she was the best, Johnny. Yeah, you gotta love her.
Yeah. So listen, dude, if you want me to bring cheesesteak, I'm so tired. We were just in National Geographic magazine, believe it or not. I love when people say, we're not like what we used to. It's just haters, and I swear to God.
So deal with this rogue that I have
John,
I'm doing a show with.
I apologize, man. I'm telling you, I was there a few years ago, and maybe I got it on a down day because I went in there with high expectation. I said, oh, you know what? It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't.
We were all going through the COVID. We had staff problems. There were, purveyor problems. Do you understand that, man?
So let me. I want to give you a fair review. I want to give you a fair review.
I will take you guys. Tell me what you want. I'll run it over to you.
John, anything you produce is fabulous in my book. You want to send the cheesesteak over for Bill and let him really concentrate on what a great product is. You could do that.
I suggest extra cheese and onions is my favorite. Of course,
I'm down with that. I can get behind that.
How many sandwiches you guys want, man?
Oh, we got a whole staff here, so you want to send over the sandwiches? They'll be like wolves.
Are you good with that? Or you want some with no onions?
Bring a couple with no onions.
A couple with no onions, and a couple threes, and
What day are we doing this?
I'll do it right now if you want, or we could just do it another day.
We'll do it another day. I'll be in touch with you. Do me a favor. Leave your number with Ray. I'll get in touch with you, and we'll pick a perfect day.
You got it. Hold on. Tell Bill. You have my number. Whatever you're coming, give me a heads up. I'll take care of you guys.
Yeah, let me tell you how good your cheesesteak is. It's almost orgasmic.
Listen,
all right? I can tell you right now, it's just fabulous, and you know that I've always felt that way.
I really appreciate. You've been so good to us over the years. I get emotional talking about it because it brings me back to many fond memories with Fredericks and being at Philly Rock, and it was that was the infancy. Even though we were started in 1930, those were the years that people just started to get to know us. I mean, we're just a neighborhood place. Only 40 or 50 people knew us.
It is amazing what you guys have been able to do with that little place. And first of all, you're called John's Roast Pork for a reason. I had a half-hour conversation with you telling me why your roast pork, why the grade of your ham was better to make that sandwich. It was fascinating.
Asking me, is the cheesesteak made of pork? Like,
No. The roast pork was the signature sandwich, but the cheese. You have now raised the level of that cheesesteak.
what happened is when I, left college and my dad got cancer, like, he made the worst cheesesteak. Like, he would put 4 ounces of frozen meat on the grill. He would turn it once, put 2 slices of cheese, but it was like $2.
Yeah, you took it to a very high level, Johnny.
Steak. We're gonna put 6 slices of cheese. My dad. That's before they had pre-sliced cheese. My dad was going crazy. Like, what are you doing with all this cheese?
John, you're the best. How's your health? All right?
Yeah, I'm 16 years. Thanks to the Be the Match Foundation.
Good for you.
You're free. Yeah. Thank you.
All
very
right,
much.
Johnny. I'll be in touch. Let me put you on hold here, and you give Ray your details.
Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, brother. You got it.
I'm looking forward to
this.
this.
He's fantastic. What a guy. He had a bone marrow transplant. He was on his deathbed at one point, and survived it, and now stronger than ever.
Wow. And his mom just passed away this month?
Yeah, Vonda was probably in her 90s. But she was a sweet lady. I mean, just the Italian grandmother, like would take care of you and nice, I'm gonna bring you some lentil soup, fresh now.
Well, my Italian grandmother would say, 90, God bless her.
Yeah, God bless her is right.
God bless her. Well, I'm looking forward to the day we get to try these cheesesteaks because maybe I had a bad day. Maybe it was just a bad day. Well, the guy, he's going to bring him over. It's a very nice gesture.
It's funny, but you can see a Rolls Royce and go, that's no good. That car's no good. Scott in Collegeville. Scott, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Scott.
Hey, Mike. Good to hear you again on the radio.
Scotty? How you doing?
And Bill and Ray. Good to hear you. I got the key to the Sixers situation with Joel Embiid. It's a stadium issue. It's not all. It's like politics, but it's not politics. It's not politics. But we're only going to play the players that want to play at the stadium.
You're losing me here. What stadium?
The stadium downtown. It's supposedly
the new one that's not going to be ready until 2032.
Yeah.
They're
still maneuvering things around.
What does that have to do with the team?
The team. Well, he should play some games.
What the hell are you talking about, Scott?
Joel.
What is this bizarro world? Explain what your point is here, brother.
Why can't he play?
Why can't he play? You're suggesting that it has something to do with the new stadium. So I want to tie the thoughts together. Please articulate. Tie it together for me, brother. Is this a joke call? Oh my God! What are we doing?
Wait, so he said it was only play the guys who want to play at the new stadium.
They're preserving Embiid so that in 2032, when they open up the stadium, he'll be ready to go.
That's I got one word for that call: mushrooms. I think my man was out of his mind.
But there are people who don't realize how far away the new arena would be. I think they do think like this is something that's going to happen next season. It's not. Would it say 2032? Well, I think he did.
No, I don't know what his point was.
I think it's 2031, 2030, whatever it is.
I think he was a loon.
It's a long way away,
I got all due respect to the guy. I think he was a loon.
All due respect.
No idea. I think he was,
every time Mike says all due respect.
I think it was a hallucination.
He disrespects
I think it was a hallucination. I really do. There was nothing that was, cogent about that call.
But we should have a segment in all due respect.
All due respect, and then Mike just disrespects everybody.
All due respect. My man was smoking a pipe over there somewhere. 610-632.
And I still need a ruling from you if I'm a lazy bastard or not.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. They didn't win last. They lost to the worst team in the league. They would get down 21 points to that team. What?
And of course, Tobias shows up for that.
I gotta
game.
be honest. Here's what I did last night. I was so disturbed by what I was watching that I made a turkey.
See, you said that to me earlier. I think that's a massive violation. You got 4 weeks until Thanksgiving.
No, it wasn't a Thanksgiving turkey. It was just a dinner turkey.
Yeah, but you
so
still
I
made turkey.
I have it for tonight. So I've got some gravy, and I get hot turkey sandwiches or turkey with the mashed potatoes. I buy a turkey breast. I don't like the dark meat, so I never buy a turkey.
Yeah, but you're basically doing your Thanksgiving meal 4 weeks early.
Would you let me explain? I'm in the grocery store, and the frozen turkey breast it was $4. It was a sale, massive sale. So I got a turkey breast for $4.35. I can't resist.
Right.
So I bought a turkey breast.
The guy who won't use a gift certificate at a restaurant is all about getting the cheap sale
But I
for
like
the turkey.
And so I like a turkey breast, and I know how to roast a good turkey breast. So I had it, and I defrosted it. And for the last couple, I was going to make it Sunday. I didn't make it Sunday. I wound up going, I got this turkey breast. It's defrosted already. I'm going to make it now. I had to do something rather than watch that dreck. And I didn't give a crap about the Dodgers-Yankees. So I fixed the turkey breast.
How big is the turkey breast? How many pounds?
It was like a 5-pound turkey breast.
All right, and me and Ray, we could have enjoyed some of that turkey
I
today.
should have brought it in.
Right, Ray?
It's a great point.
I should have brought it in.
Great
5 pounds. 5 pounds of turkey Mike has by himself in the house.
I made a butter mixed with fresh herbs, partially fresh rosemary that I grow, and sage that I grow.
Yep.
Chop that up, and you make the butter with it with a little garlic, and then you get that butter, and you get the skin, and you cut the skin, and you tuck that butter inside that skin.
Did you make your own mash too?
I didn't eat the turkey last night. I just made it. At the time I'm doing it, it's 9 o'clock. I'm not going to eat it. It's not a dinner time turkey. I just made it to make it, and that's why I have it.
See, I love turkey as well. But I wouldn't really want it right now because I want that Thanksgiving meal to be special. Like, oh, man, I haven't had turkey mashed potatoes in a long time. You know what I mean, Ray?
No.
Kind of like you're getting it too early.
Well, 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks down the road on Thanksgiving.
Still a little too early for me.
You can't have turkey like twice within a month?
You can.
You see, your eating habits are off.
It just takes it away.
Like telling me John's roast pork is overrated. You got this turkey thing. You're a weirdo, man.
I don't know. Like you wouldn't want to do the 7 fishes a few weeks before Christmas Eve.
Different. You can eat turkey multiple times during the year. You're not eating 7 fishes during multiple times of the year. Who the hell eats 7 fishes multiple times of the year? It's just an Italian Christmas Eve thing. And I don't even eat 6 of the fishes.
Well, I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving meal November 1st when you eat it tomorrow. It's a little
Both
too
of
early.
you confused the hell out of me.
A little too early. All right, let me ask you if I'm a lazy bastard. I got to ask you this question. Last night, my wife gets a call from her dad, so my father-in-law, about 9:30.
You get along with the father-in-law?
Very well.
I met him at the family.
Great dude.
Nice guy.
So he calls my wife last night, and he doesn't ask if I've already done this. He just says, Bridge, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm going to be over tomorrow morning to blow all the leaves out of your yard. So he already assumes in his head there is no chance in hell that Bill has already taken care of the leaves. So I'm just giving you a heads up that I'm coming over. Am I that lazy of a bastard that the thought didn't even cross his mind that maybe I took care of the leaves myself?
He doesn't trust you a little bit.
No. Now, great dude. I appreciate it. He's over there now. My wife sent me a picture of him blowing the leaves. But it doesn't even cross his mind that maybe my son-in-law did it?
You're missing the point here.
Did you?
It did cross his mind.
No, I didn't do it. There wasn't a chance I did it, but the fact that he knows.
He knows you well then.
It did cross his mind.
Was he a pop-in guy? Like, suppose you're, engaged in something.
Yeah, they pop
They're
in.
the pop-in, so they're like everybody loves Raymond?
God. My wife just wrote yes to the question in the YouTube chat that I am the lazy bastard. Yeah, they're pop-in, but I encourage it.
Encourage the pop-in?
I like it. See, I grew up, and I lived at my grandparents for a while. So I grew up where we were the house that was the revolving door. So I always loved family coming in and out constantly. So I'm used to it. And especially if they're going to pop in and blow leaves. Come on over.
I don't know about the pop-in. I'm sure that I would love my in-laws too, but not with the pop-in.
Well, it's not like they just open the door and I'm walking around in the nude or something.
That's what it sounds like. They tell you what time you're coming. They were coming over.
No,
they coming over tomorrow to blow the leaves. So you could be walking around.
Yeah, they are pop-ins. Hey, listen, if they pop in and I'm walking around the house in the nude, that's on them, not me.
You a pop-in guy, right?
That's on you, 100%. If they told you they were coming at some point, it's up to you to clarify the time.
You a pop-in man? Right? Would you mind that?
I mean, I
You
wouldn't
don't have to
prefer
worry
it.
about that for a really
Yeah, I
long
don't really
time.
have to worry about it for a
maybe
while.
sooner than we think.
Stop, please. I'm begging you. Like, just, again, act normal. Like,
Maybe sooner than we
I
think.
ask you to just act normal for maybe, like, just 5 seconds. I understand it's not going to work for 4 hours, but just maybe
But let me
one
ask you,
topic.
when you do get married,
I don't think I'll be a pop-in.
well, yeah,
So.
you may not, but if the pop-in also comes with, I'm going to blow the leaves, or I'm going to do this, it's actually really nice.
I'm sure it's fantastic. I haven't really given a ton of thought to the whole pop-in thing because I'm not really at the stage of life where I'm concerned about the pop-ins.
Yeah.
Ray's walking around like the cartoon with the cupids and the hearts flying over his head. You know?
He does.
With
Like, whenever-
violin music.
Like, he
playing.
acts
We got to
like-
hit a break.
He acts like he gets mad when we bring it up. Did you see
Yeah.
how he lights up?
Yeah. Hey, Ray. Listen, embrace it. Embrace it, right?
For whom the bell tolls is now just
Right.
my official.
You only get
it's
3
good.
great women in your life. For me, they all came when I was 17. What movie's that from?
It's Sunny from the Bronx Tale, which is one of your favorite movies, right? All right, 610-632-0975. We're back after this. And cooling job, you can visit one of Ferguson's counter locations to get that. Then Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right, I need to hear the Shams on Embiid. Shams is the new Woj, although he's been a competitor of Woj for a long time, trying to dig the scoop. But to get the scoops, you got to give back. And the give back is that you make the organizations look good, you make the agents look good, or they'll stop feeding you information because it's all about their PR as well. And so I think that Shams has gotten deals with maybe some team executives. So you give me this and I'll give you that. And so I think that this is a reflection and an example of that when the Sixers are telling him the following. So here's Shams on the Embiid situation.
I'm told he is essentially in the ramp-up phase of his return process, of his debut process. He has completed, from what I'm told, multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages in recent days. And so the Sixers want to make sure, from a conditioning perspective, his knee, his body is 100% before he makes it back out on the floor for his debut. He has workout scheduled today and on Friday to evaluate whether he's going to be able to make a return as soon as this weekend. But this is all a part of what has been described to me as the new normal for Joel Embiid. That's going to include periodic time off at different points during the season. It's going to include routine checkups on his knee over the course of the season. And it is all part of the Sixers and Joel Embiid's new strategy this season on how to keep him healthy when he has never been, and that's for the playoffs.
So you think that was Morey feeding Shams right there?
Are you kidding me? What do you think that was? I'm told essentially he's in the ramp-up period. Okay, my question would then be, why? Why is he in a ramp-up period? It's been months. Why is he in a ramp-up period? Well, conditioning perspective. Okay, why? He's not conditioned? What happened? He had several months to get conditioned for the season. The training camp's supposed to condition you as well. And then he said, well, he's been playing in multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages, which belies your point that he's hurt. So put it all together. And what do you got? You got fraud is what you got.
It is always interesting, and the same thing goes with the NFL, is when the national reporters are the ones who have the inside information. But guys like Pompey and Gina Mizell, the local beat reporters, they don't. So that just signals, yes, someone is giving Shams this information from within the organization.
Because the national perspective is more important to that.
Yeah.
Right? Then because we're just the miserables that criticize them.
Well, it was the same thing last season when the Eagles decided to move on from Desai to Patricia. None of the local guys got it. It was Jay Glazer on Sunday morning. Or was it? Yeah, it was Sunday morning releases.
It's strategic to make them look good. And again, I really think Shams a wonderful reporter. I guess he is. It's a pretty quid pro quo type of reporter, the way I look at it. But he does get information. But I'm told it's essentially he's essentially in the ramp up period. Now, if you're a reporter, do you not ask the follow up? Oh, really? Why is that? Like to me, it would seem so fundamental to say, oh, why? That seems odd that he's still in the ramp up period. Well, like, did anything happen to set him back? Those are the questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, but it's still, you're right. It is the question that needs to be answered. It's something I keep throwing out there. Is there more going on with the knee? Because that would be the only explanation.
When you hear something, he's been in multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages. What makes you think that it's the knee, that he's hurt? Does that not? Well, does that not settle into you? Like, he's playing.
The language of the fine that the NBA levied on the Sixers was that they were not forthcoming about the injury. It had nothing to do with just putting him in bubble wrap. It was they were not forthcoming about the knee. That's why they were fined $100K.
I don't think they said specifically they weren't forthcoming about the injury. They weren't forthcoming about their explanation of why he wasn't playing.
Well, again, it was Shams who said, per sources. Right? It was Shams who said it was about the knee.
I think they said knee or injury, didn't it?
Did not properly reflect his health issues with his knee. Yeah, Public comments that did not properly reflect his health issues with his knee.
Well, the health issues were that he's worn down and he has a knee that's worn down. I get it, which leads you to that's why they're going through this whole strategy. But I need other answers. Like, his conditioning perspective. Okay, why? Why isn't he in condition? His ramp, he's got to still ramp up. He's not light enough. Why? Like, just you can't just sell a premise and think people are stupid that they're just going to accept it. I need to know why he's in a ramp up period. Why does he have a conditioning perspective? Like, give me something here.
I keep going back to, and I have no evidence to support this other than us looking for things and looking for reasons. He shouldn't have played in the Olympics. I mean, that has to be what this is all about. That everything got set on a delayed track because he played in the Olympics. And they couldn't stop him from playing in the Olympics, so they can't come out now and say he shouldn't have played in the Olympics. But that has to be what it is. That has to be. Right? We got text on this.
I mean, we got plenty to choose from. We got one that wants to jump into the ramping up conversation. JB in Pottstown. Take it from a former sports medicine guy. Ramping up is not a medical term. It literally could mean anything. It would only be defined by the team or organization that uses it. Once Halloween is over, I'll be ramping up for Thanksgiving. I've never once in my career told my patients that they're ramping them up to return to the football field, baseball field, tennis court, golf course. It's basically some fluff terminology that has no definition or identification.
And that's my point. They now, this is the big con on the fan base is, they're ramping them up. And people go, oh, okay, I get it. And I go, well, what the hell does that mean? They know that people are willing to say, oh, we're ramping him up because we're protecting him because we want him to be healthy for the playoffs. And people eat that up. But today, I think it stopped. I think that whole premise stopped. The premise that you bought into weeks ago. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. They can tell you anything, and you gobble it down. I don't.
What's the alternative, Mike? I'm saying, as a fan of the Sixers right now, what's the alternative?
By playing him restrictive minutes. It's the only way that you can, quote unquote, ramp up. You're not going to ramp up by being at the facility.
I just am still hoping that this isn't not the load management. I'm okay with it. I know you're not. I'm okay with it. I just hope this isn't going to be a problem all year where there's issues with the knee and he's not healthy and then the knee's bothering him and we're going to shut him down again. I'm a little bit concerned about that.
It doesn't bother you that this team is talking you out of him playing and he's talking himself out of playing? That's their most important thing, not to play? That doesn't bother you?
It's just the reality of the situation with Joel.
The reality that they tell you. Yeah, that's what the reality is. They're telling you what the reality is. You can choose to believe it or not. I choose not to because I find it unfathomable that months could go by and he's not, quote unquote, ramped up.
I mean, just look at the history. 39 games last year, 66, 68, 51, 51, 64, 63, 31. I didn't want to see them move on from Joel. I think he is a unique talent in the NBA. He's one of the best scorers we've ever seen.
Play him 64. Play him 64 then. He's already going to miss 15 back-to-backs. We're now missing all these games. He's not going to get to 64.
55, 60 games would be the sweet spot for me. I'm okay with that. Hey, look, unless your plan was blow it up and move on from Joel, this is what we're going to deal with.
You are so timid. For a macho football guy, you're so timid. Oh, that's okay. Oh, let's treat him so gingerly.
Well, because he's 7 feet tall and he's got a knee issue.
He's the only 7-footer that ever played. Only one. It's only him. We got some text here. We got Embiid text. We got Bob from Westchester dealing with a pop-in. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Bob from Westchester wanted to let everyone know that he is currently dealing with a pop-in and understands the conversation surrounding the pop-in. I don't know whether he's pro or anti, but he is currently dealing with a pop-in. As for Embiid, we got another text. First-time text here checking in. Is there any chance the Sixers aren't playing Embiid because Paul George isn't playing? They need on-court time to mesh, and why not preserve Embiid while George is also out? Maybe if George only missed one game, Embiid would have only missed one game.
I don't know. I mean, what do I know?
So wait, they're saying if George was healthy, he would have played?
Legitimately hurt, so I don't know if that's the major reason why they're not playing Embiid. That because George is hurt. Why did they get all these other role players? Like they got all these old role players so they could fill in for guys that aren't playing. right? So if Embiid's capable of playing, then just play with the role players. Somebody will fill in for George until George gets back. That doesn't make sense. Like, why would he need George to be able to play? You could play with Maxey. You played with Maxey for like 2 years straight, right? You could play with Kelly Oubre, who you played with last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be some minutes, even when they're both healthy. There's going to be minutes where Joel's on the court and Paul George isn't, or vice versa.
All right, what else do we have? Any more text?
Plenty of people. There are also people upset with Bill saying you can only have turkey. A lot of people upset with Bill in general. The turkey take, and then, of course, the John's roast pork. A lot of people upset with your takes on the food in the last hour and a half. That's kind of buried.
Yeah, so in other words, right, when I go to the grocery store and a turkey breast is on sale, marked down to $4.35, a 5-pound turkey breast. Like, I'm not,
See,
because that's going to spoil
let me ask you a question,
the whole
though.
premise of Thanksgiving.
Let me
Can't
ask you,
do it.
Let me ask you a bigger question. Why do you think it's on sale? Because most normal people aren't buying turkey right now because they know they're going to have turkey in a couple weeks.
I don't care why it's on sale. I got a good bargain. And at the very least, I got that turkey I can make turkey sandwiches with. I don't have to have it as a turkey entree. I can have that turkey breast fresh, slice that fresh turkey breast, put it in a nice roll. Come on.
So what I'm hearing, Ray, is don't bring lunch tomorrow because we're going to have turkey provided by
After
Missanelli.
all your insolence today, you think I'm bringing you turkey? You've got to be kidding me.
Well, John's bringing us roast cheesesteaks, so from John's roast pork.
Yeah, but that's under my control, and I'll let you suffer. but to see, because now everybody else suffers because of your spin on John's roast pork cheesesteaks. Ray, what do you think of this guy today? Talk to me about his performance today.
About his performance today?
Yeah.
I mean, the food was tough. I'm very confused between the two of you with this back and forth over the turkey, though. Mostly confused with the turkey take. Well, I'm confused with the turkey take of not having any of it until Thanksgiving. I think that's
Bill's
a little
take.
much. Yeah, but I'm also
That's
confused
a weird take.
with you,
What do you mean?
on the looking at the sale and just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go roll with the sale.
I
here.
happen to like a turkey breast, and I should buy it more because I love roasting a turkey breast. I saw the turkey breast. I go, holy crap! This is the lowest price it's ever been. I got to snatch one. So I snatched it with the intention of keeping it frozen. But somehow I got the hankering for it on Sunday, and I put it in the refrigerator to defrost. It takes a couple of days to defrost. I look at my refrigerator last night because the Sixers are driving me to the frickin' refrigerator, and I see that the turkey breast is in there defrosted. I go, now is when I make it. Is that simple enough?
It's not so much. It's the saving money thing. I just can't understand how the guy who's anti-gift card is, I'm going to go
Exactly. I am a tremendous grocery shopper. I take advantage of sales. I'm in the grocery store a lot. I go, oh, look at this. Boom. I grab something that looks like a good sale.
And he steals paper bags. All makes a lot of sense now.
I've
forgot about that
You stopped that?
I've stopped
After you revealed it on the air?
I made it a point to bring my bags with me. Major bag alert. Bag.
Oh, it's Thursday. Do we have a DB of the week?
No, we don't have a DB of the week this week. I was too involved last night with the Sixers and disgusted and making a turkey breast.
Well, we got an easy DB of the week this week.
What do you have?
So those Yankee fans. The Yankees fans who tried to rip the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove. That's a DB move. So they could be our major DB of the week.
Yeah, that's weak.
Unless you got anybody else,
a
right?
weak DB. I like to get a more involved DB.
Yeah, you do.
There's not a lot of debate around that.
Yeah, there's no debate on it.
I mean, aside from New Yorkers thinking that they're heroes. But, like, the rest of us, I think, around the country are like, yeah, those guys.
I got a topic for tomorrow I was reading a story about a woman who has been in a relationship for 6 years. And the guy would prefer to keep it the way it is, the living together situation without the marriage. And whether it's right for the woman to demand the marriage or to scoot. We'll discuss that tomorrow. I'm sure you'll have some
kind of like
views on that.
Like bleep or get off the pot.
Yeah,
so
like Ray is in the preliminary stages of that, where he could keep this relationship going for many years without the marriage part of it.
Ray,
which I got to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with it. I think marriage does something to people, puts an added pressure on it, where you become less likely to stay together.
I think it's time for closing arguments.
Yeah,
well, Ray actually caught a stray in the YouTube chat earlier.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
What happened?
Mopar just said, did anyone else see how much hair is sticking out of the top of Ray's shirt?
Mopar has been in the YouTube comments for how long?
What, Ray's?
Mopar, I've worn way more revealing than this.
Ray is displaying a Fletcher Cox blouse.
He is, but
he's showing his chest hair.
But he doesn't have a low-cut shirt. It's coming out of the top of a normal crew neck.
I'll be honest with you, Mopar. You've watched us on YouTube for a long time. You've seen way more chest hair on other days than you have today.
See, Ray's a hairy MF, isn't he? I couldn't get past the leg hair. Now we got the chest thing.
I brought shorts back out today. It's the first time wearing shorts in weeks.
Ray has a lot of hair. I'm
Ray's a macho,
hairless.
hairy man.
That's right.
All right. It's time for closing argument.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit lowenthalabrams.com.
You know what my closing argument is going to be. I'm irritated with this whole situation, and I know people aren't. I know there are people out there that think this is for the greater good, that he doesn't have to play, that you preserve him in bubble wrap for as long as you can. And all of a sudden, he pops out of a closet with a red S and a cape. And in the playoffs, he's going to be this monster. Well, I look at the NBA and I go, you have to field a team. You have to develop continuity. When you get to the playoffs, you better have a tight crew. And I don't think that the Sixers are starting this season with that in mind. They are starting the season more out of fear than accomplishment. They are starting it out of being permissive of him not playing rather than playing and getting this team together. And I don't like it, which is why I had to peel my eyes away from a disheartening loss to the Detroit Pistons to make a frickin' turkey. And when I went to bed, I smelled like turkey. And that was very distasteful for me. That's my closing argument for today. Smelling like turkey, you kids at home. That's no good.
That is no good. And as frustrating as the whole Sixers thing is, and even though they're leaving Nick Nurse out to dry, I do have a message for Nick Nurse. You better figure out a way to win some games without Joel Embiid, because you're now 17-30 in the last 47 games without Joel. And if the plan really is to not play Joel this season, you better figure out something that looks better than what you saw last night, because that offense was atrocious. To watch you have no answer on offense or defense without Joel Embiid, where you've had plenty of time to figure this out, you better put something in place, because it's not going to cut it going forward. So that's my closing argument.
That's fantastic. One last little note. If I got 1540 on my SATs, I'm going to Harvard, brother. That's where I'm headed.
Well, you'd also
But
be in
Temple's
significant debt.
He's going to the Harvard of North Philly.
Well, significant debt. Look, I know people who have gone to Ivy League schools, have great jobs. They're still paying their student loans. Ray's sitting back there with not a single penny owed to college. Right, Ray?
Yep, just owed to everyone else.
Just everybody else. All right, well, we got a fun show tomorrow. We got Tim McManus. We'll get you ready for Eagles and Jags. Football Friday.
Yeah, it'll be Football Friday. We won't talk Sixers tomorrow. So everybody have a great rest of the night, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.